stars. Look at us to the top, no ifs, no buts. Winning any game, para to sa BIN na yes. Di mo matitinag aming boses on your level. Nasa kalye man o mobile window, I become a legend. Open fire, reunite, we winners. Built with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching a lane na parang gera, HP racing, may reset. Built like a tank, buhat, we hit that full load SS parang Lyra. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama patas, tagumpay natin ito dahil tayo'y malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi ko atras, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi ko atras, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Wow! Hold on. Yeah, wala ka sa Pinas. We are laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Giving 100 all my all, cause we just cannot be defeated. We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable. Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, malak crowd control. Pakita ko na jab like beast of the southeast. Taas sa matawa, proud and loud, cause every enemy we devour. Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama patas, tagumpay natin ito dahil tayo'y malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi ko atras, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas. Para sa Pinas, nasa amin ang alas, hindi ko atras, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Wow! Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas. Kahit anong lane, we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas. Face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite, be the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite, be the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite, be the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we the stars.
Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we the stars.
The 14th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 14. The official tournament phone of MPL Philippines, Infinix GT20 Pro. Official suppliers, EMC Asia and Index Salon. Experience the TLPH Season 14 action live at Green Sun, Makati City. Grab your tickets now via official MPLPH website. Don't miss any MPL action by following our official Facebook and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Follow MPLPH on TikTok for more content. And to ensure the equality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusements Board.
Lakas ng Pinas!
Maligayang pagdating sa MPL Arena! I'm Mara Aquino and welcome to MPL Philippines Season 14. It's time for more non-stop action in the Land of Dawn. Last week, we saw a team rise above expectations and one team gave a stellar debut. So which team will set forth and shine this week? Simulan na natin ang bakbakan and unleash the hero within. Casters, pasok!
Leo at your service here with Jose Ingan, opening up week 2 of MPL Philippines Season 14. Ingan, how we doing?
You really dropped my full name, no?
People know.
People now know. You know, I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I love the atmosphere, by the way. Props to Mara and Ranmar for really hyping up the crowd for week number 2.
It's bound to be another trendsetter week. I have to admit, the first week of Season 14 had its ups and downs, some its fair share of shocks to the system, but I do believe that teams are about to find their footing just yet. Real quick, we would like to send a huge shout out to our official sponsor, Smart. With Smart's Power All 99, you have the power to do what you want. With 8 gigabytes for all sites and apps, you can also power your play or watch, share, and stream everything.
And you can also get a free Gig Arena ticket so you can unleash the inner game in you. This also comes with Only TikTok and Only Text to all networks. All that power for 7 days for just only 99 pesos.
Real quick off the top, Ingan, tell me what you remember from last week, because honestly, from my point of view, it was just a blur.
For me, it's really the two roamers of Aurora and Omega. First of all, Renegade showing that he's the hitman, at the same time the heel man with the Matilda and the Grok. And who could forget Omega upsetting Fnatic, I mean FCAP, Falcons AP Bren, especially with Jack Mamba's Franco plays.
Yeah, that was a long night.
Yeah.
To be honest. Real quick, let's go through some of those highlights. Number 1, again, you mentioned the loss of Falcons AP Bren, the defending world champions, at the hands of the Bagong Barangay in Smart Omega. You also mentioned a little bit of Aurora versus Blacklist, a new rivalry brewing. I'm not sure, I'll be honest with y'all, folks. What's more rabid? The rivalry between those teams or the fan bases?
I think the fan bases. The fan bases are really wild, and of course it's good because we can see the support, and I even know that Carl Tizio actually likes it when people praise him because it gives him a lot of confidence to really show that he's the best of the best. Speaking of the best,
Talking about our standings, you'll watch Carl Tizzi, our belated happy birthday boy, in action up against TNC in just a bit, who has yet to score any points. They are similar to Blacklist, RSG, and Falcons AP Bren, because again, mind you, this is a new season format with a new point system. To win, you get a point. You lose, you get nothing. You get a game win, you get nothing. So Aurora, Smart Omega, Fnatic Onyx, Team Liquid, they each won their series, and that leaves the 4 others down there in the bottom in the dust.
It's really going to be a hard-fought battle for week number 2, especially because, again, you mentioned the new point system. Imagine going 3 games, winning 2-1, but you only get 1 point at the end of your match. So it's really going to be interesting and at the same time still exciting for all of us fans here.
Here's the hoping that this week we see those teams who went 3 games and lost them still find a second wind. Because if not now, when? If not in week 2, you're looking at week 3, week 4, and come on, years on end, we've seen teams try and catch up on points, and now with an even more brutal point system, you better get those points in as early as now. Week 2, day 1 opens up with the Army versus the Cavaliers, TNC Pro Team versus TLPH, and we're closing off with Smart Omega versus Blacklist International.
Both of these two teams really know each other, and we're really excited to see if TNC or even Blacklist can actually dethrone the undefeated team so far coming into week number 2. Especially since I believe TNC has really been brewing up something for the past week. Shout out to their coach, Coach Wolf, by the way. So I think this is going to be an exciting first match for day number 1.
And how perfect is it? It seems like it was written in the stars. It's a team with a streak versus a team who has yet to score anything. So all the more, the fans are going to have to come into play again. The Army and the Cavaliers, the Agents and the Barangay. Come on down, share the stream, let us know exactly what you're looking for in today's broadcast. And maybe join us here in the lovely MPL Arena in Green Sun Hotel in Makati. Ingan, we're about to begin the show. And in just a bit, we'll throw it over to our panel who have so much to say about this bout, starting in about 10 minutes till the draft. Any bold assumptions?
Bold assumptions, TNC 2-1.
TNC
2-1. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna one-up you. Omega's gonna continue their streak. Let's go ahead and throw it over to the Infinix Game Tambayan to get the action started.
Much love to our casters, both on the Filipino and the English desk. Tama ang kanilang nabanggit. My name is Hans Galeria. This is Renmar Santa Cruz, and that is Auntie Anara. Kasama nyo kami at makakasama nyo pa kami for the rest of the day. Dito lamang sa Infinix Game Tambayan. It's been a week na nangyari all throughout the season, and ngayon, 4 na teams na naman ang ating matutunghayan.
I'm excited kasi ang daming nakita natin surprising results from week 1, and there are some surprising happenings leading up to week 2.
Oo, kaya nga nakaka-interesting makita kung paano magpe-perform lahat ng teams natin entering week 2, because some of them started out really strong, while some of them are still finding that kind of momentum.
Yeah, and that performance, whether it's good or really good, would not be possible without our Infinix GT20. Infinix GT20 Pro is the official tournament phone of the MPL Philippines Season 14. So maraming salamat po sa Infinix for making this possible. What's possible are the 2 teams that are gonna match up today. It is TNC Pro Team and Team Liquid Philippines. And this is TNC versus TLPH. Coach Wolf, it's still so weird na sinasabi ko yun. Pero ngayon, it's something that we have to live by. Coach Wolf to welcome Coach Tic-Tac back. Now, for the first week, right, we haven't seen Coach Tic-Tac. Mid-season transfers are taking effect in week number 2 as Coach Tic-Tac is now returning to TLPH as the head coach, with Coach Saire as assistant coach, and then si Coach CJ that was their coach from week number 1 that is going to be moving into the analyst position. And for everybody's information, I feel like I'll give this to you, Auntie Anara. You've seen Coach Saire in the MDL Philippines.
Yeah,
right?
MDL Philippines Season 2, Coach Saire was then a member as a 6th man of Smart Omega Neos, and now he is a member of Team Liquid Philippines. So to me, sobrang interesting makita yon, kasi kung hindi niyo po alam, si Coach Saire lang naman ang nakadiscover kina Kara, Chaknu, and Hatred.
Yeah. So tutusin siya ang unang tumesting dun sa kaya.
Kung may creator, siya yung discoverer.
Siya yung discoverer. Yeah, and as you can see, he's gonna be part of such a very well-caliber coaching staff as Coach Tic-Tac and Coach CJ. Renmar, this is a new scenario para sa kupunan ng Team Liquid. Kasi for the longest time, it's always been Coach Tic-Tac. Pero ngayon, last season, we've seen Coach CJ, and then now, Coach Saire. What's going to be, the factor that we're going to expect from the Cavalry?
Well, I think one thing we have to acknowledge is for teams that have always had the bigger coaching staffs, hopefully behind the scenes that they have that good balance, that good understanding of like who manages what. Let's look at TNC Pro Team to understand how they see it. Because for TNC Pro Team, Wolf already said in an interview that he focuses more on the macros. He has 2 former players with him as his analyst, as his assistant coach, to focus on the micro. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same case for TLPH. The organization is already experienced in terms of handling bigger rosters, bigger coaching staffs. So now, instead of what was a 3v1 heading into this week with the entire roster of Team against Coach CJ, now it's a 3v3.
Kumbaga, they're leveling up the battlefield. Now it's either it's Wolf versus Coach Tic-Tac and friends, if I should say. Kasi meron na sila mga right, and friends.
Welcome back talaga, Coach Tic-Tac.
Welcome back to Coach Tic-Tac as he's going to be part of the team once again. But speaking of someone who is back, this is smart hero within. Dahil SDZYZ, he's gonna be unleashing the Seasoned Hunter. The Seasoned Hunter, given that he's played and he's showcased kung ano nga ba yung meta natin for the longest time. Because he was the substitute jungler for TNC. He's also known as the proponent of the Demon Slayer meta na unang in-introduce noong Season 9. Ito rin yung same season that TNC reached their highest finish in MPL history, being 3rd place. So, now that he's back in TNC, would that be something that we're gonna expect, or is this a process na kailangan pagdaanan ni SD?
Alam mo, gusto ko lang balikan yung naging run ng TNC Pro Team way back Season 9, wherein they placed their best season yet, no? Wherein they placed 3rd place. And nabanggit nga natin doon na time and time again, TNC Pro Team was the textbook TNC, meaning they've done everything by the book. Lahat ng ginagawa nila, may reason, and SDZYZ is definitely one of the people to look out for. And now, na kumbaga nagkabalikan na kasi sila ni Escalera.
Ikabalikan. Okay, tuloy.
Nagkabalikan sila ni Escalera na ang tagal nilang hindi naging magkakampi. Tapos, meron pang added factor na nandito si Coach Eto Max and Coach Wolf, na we all know are very renowned analysts of their own. Talagang may bagong may papakita ang TNC Pro Team ngayon.
Now that you mentioned that, I'm honestly interested. Renmar, quick lang. How is SDZYZ? Paano ba siya maglalaro ngayon? Kasi we haven't seen him in a long time. Saan ba siya nanggaling? Malaysia, Cambodia? There's been a lot, right?
Yeah, he went on a mini Southeast, hindi world tour, Southeast Asia tour naman yung naranasan niya. So I feel like the inclusion of STZYC now, it's more of a buff. Kasi you have someone who was a veteran, someone who was there during the height of TNC Pro Team, someone who helped introduce a new meta. So buff yung introduction dito ni SD.
Speaking of introduction, I feel like it is now time for Team Liquid Philippines and TNC Pro Team. Let's go.
MPL Arena, this is our first match of the day, and these are the fine gentlemen who will be behind the desks helping out our teams. It's Jeff, Chico, Pat, and Wilbert, the Marshals! Ooh, Escalera, SDZYZ back together. There is nowhere to go but up. It's time for the Wolves pack to show their fangs. Give it up. It's a comeback for TNC. Cavaliers, this is for you! The cavalry has arrived, an unstoppable force, and with a new coach, well, returning coach in town, it's Team Liquid PH! Happy birthday again, Carl! And the master tacticians, fresh off of a gig, it's Coach Wolf for TNC Pro Team. And for Team Liquid PH, it's Coach Sider.
It's time for the face-off. SDZYZ, Carl TZ, step forward. Come closer together. SDZYZ, ano ang palag mo kay Carl TZ?
Wait lang po, nakalimutan ko po eh. Ako sasabihin ko po eh. Ano, good luck. Bibigyan ka namin kayo ng magandang laban.
Magandang laban. Carl TZ, ano ang palag mo kay SDZYZ?
Mas malaki po yung tiyan ko.
Mas malaki ang tiyan. Alright, fist bump. You may now return to your spots. Can TNC rise once more? Or will the cavalry ride to victory? Let's step in the Lanadon. Casters, pass up.
Nga daw yung tiyan ni Carl. Pero sino nga ba ang mas mataas naman ang kumpiyansa dito sa TNC Pro Team with SDZYZ's return?
Kaya nga, kumbaga na excited na ako makita kung ano yung bagong ipapakita ng TNC Pro Team given their last week's run. So definitely, yung isang linggong preparasyon as they head on to this second week, yun yung kailangan nating makita. May mga tanong tayo na fully gelled na ba talaga yung chemistry? Or kailangan pa nating makitang pag-igihan palalo ng TNC Pro Team kung ano yung binubuo nila as of now?
Yeah, because Coach Wolf did mention that their chemistry was one of the things that they wanted to work on. And
Yes.
Escalera mentioned his frustrations about the movements and the communications not being there. They needed to be there because they're up against a team. They're up against JP and Sanji, who in the roam in the mid. Their rotations alongside Carl TZ, we know Team Liquid PH. We know how well they do locally, how well they do internationally. And they are a team that if you don't know or don't know the strategy that you want to pull off in the early game, they will punish you for it.
And for most of the time, right? For most of the time, we've seen Team Liquid Philippines na ito na talaga yung nilalagay nilang lineup. And TNC Pro Team, they're in the process, di ba? That's what they would always say, especially during their press release, na kailangan mong pagkatiwalaan yung proseso. And now, SDCYC is gonna be part of it to go up against Carl TZ as well.
Yeah, TNC Pro Team, their issues, they mentioned it was chemistry. But for Team Liquid PH, it's biology with how natural the game comes to them.
I mean, for keys to victory, you have to surprise the cavalry if you're TNC with what you can pull off. If you're the side of Team Liquid Philippines, you have to fight Phoenix armies, versatility with your stability, and then for both, you have to activate your trio mid-early and dictate the pace of the game. Anti, what captured you on this?
Dito sa Infinix Keys to Victory, ang pinaka nag-strike sa akin, yung pangatlo, activate your trio mid-early and dictate the pace of the game. Hindi ko alam if napapansin nyo, pero ngayon sa meta natin right now, hindi na masyadong uso na gold laner na lang yung bumubuhat doon sa laban. Gone were the days na talagang nakaalalay lang sa gold laner lahat. Ibig sabihin, kailangang maging mas mabilis ng mid laner, specifically yung mid and roam sa kanilang rotation. One, to give space to their jungler, and two, to give space for their gold laner, especially now na bumabalik tayo sa assassin meta.
Kaya ako natatakot dito para sa TNC Pro Team because right now this meta, and they have shown it in international tournaments for Team Liquid Philippines, they're so comfortable playing with this kind of rotation, with the roam mid and jungle really setting the tempo. And when you're up against a team that's still trying to discover themselves,
Yeah.
again, this is what we mentioned earlier and what we've been talking about, we've been alluding to it. The TLPH can really punish them in the early game if TNC Pro Team aren't careful. However, what I like about TNC Pro Team is that they have shown that when they are in the zone, they can control the early game, and they have also shown to be able to show little flashes of comebacks.
Yes.
I feel like that's been the trademark of TNC, right? They've always managed to take control pagdating sa early game ng ilan sa mga series. And I hope that they could also translate that into the later portions of the match, because in just a bit ay makikita na natin ang draft, both the picks and bans para sa parehas na kupunan. And I am sure that this is going to be wild, given that this is Coach Wolf and it's Coach Saire, Coach Tic Tac, Coach CJ. We don't know who's there, but this is going to be major para sa dalawang.
Talagang major talaga ang magiging kaganapan. But before we delve deeper into the draft, no, gusto ko lang din sabihin na I would say, even in their previous runs, no, the Liquid PH has always been one of the teams na strongest in terms of turtle fights.
Yeah.
So yun yung kailangan nating makita from them if they want to take advantage ng fact nga na hinahanap pa ng TNC Pro Team yung talagang chemistry na gagamitin nila as we head on to week number 2.
Yeah, surprising first pick for TNC Pro Team. They go ahead and take the Julian, taking it away from the hands of Carl TZ. That's a usual jungler pick for Team Liquid. While Benny Cutie, although this can still get flexed into the hands of Carl TZ in the jungle, but in terms of the recent pickups, it's almost always a Benny Cutie pick for the Roger. And I like that TLPH decided to go for the Aurora because it's one of the comforts for Hatred in the mid lane.
Yes, and aside from it being a comfort for Hatred, no, magiging maganda yung pagkakapick ng Aurora, mostly because it can counter any assassins that will run into it. So isa sa mga nangyayari ngayon, no, Aurora yung isa sa mga primary counters against a Hayabusa. Kasi kapag dumikit yung Hayabusa, hindi tumama yung quad shadow, madali siyang mafi-freeze ng Aurora.
Yeah, so that goes to show the level of understanding na meron yung Team Liquid Philippines, knowing that SDZYZ is one of the best assassin users that we so far have in the tournament. Terizla and Moskov yung ipipick up ng TNC Pro Team to finish their first round. Meanwhile, Edith naman para dito sa kupunan ng Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's blitz drafting for both, and TLPH will decide to take away the Faramis. Yeah, really fast. So you can see the level of preparation for both. TLPH picks fast, TNC Pro Team will pick fast right away.
Yes.
Now, one thing that they've been picking a lot, or they picked a lot in week 1, was a Terizla for heads. I actually like this approach that they decide to continue picking the safest EXP laner you can give an EXP laner when you're trying to discover yourself. And I like that TNC Pro Team banned out the high loss because in the 2 times they faced off against the high loss, it always surprised them in the draft and in the game.
And even in week number 1, Hylos has always been effective. Kung babalikan natin yung mga games na pinili yung Hylos, I think it was only once na natalo yung Hylos, and it wasn't even a very insurmountable defeat. Nagkaroon lang talaga ng opportunity yung kabilang team na makahanap ng opening doon.
One thing I'm gonna look out for here is a potential jawhead for TLPH.
Yes.
Even though we see the Edith and that does go into the hands of JP, that can still get flexed into the hands of Sanford. Plus a jawhead and Aurora together just sound annoying. I don't want to go up
Babato ka
against...
tapos magiging yellow ka tapos.
That kind of does make a lot of sense because from what we've seen, right from the first week of the drafting, parang nagre-rely yung mga teams sa kung ano yung mga flexible na mga heroes. Like they're gonna be picking Julian, they're gonna be picking the Moskov, the Edith. Kasi pwedeng magpunta yun sa iba't ibang parts ng roles. Pero now, we kind of see Terizla na yun nga, just like what Renmar said, is the safest option to go into the XP lane. At madalas din naman na nakikita natin that heads really performs well in that kind of scenario. Meanwhile, for TLPH, we're still unsure kung saan ba pupunta itong Edith, but it will most likely go to JP kasi parang yun yung madalas na nilalaro niya ngayon depending on the scenario.
Ooh, and it's...
Okay. Stand corrected. Predicted.
Oo, kasi nga naman aside from the fact na medyo nakakainis talaga yung Jawhead, yung mere fact na kaya niyang itapon palikod kung sino man yung nasa harap ng kabilang koponan TNC Pro Team in this case, madali nang mababurst down yon ng kalaban.
But how is this Tigreal matchup gonna go against the Jawhead, right? Kasi usually
Paunahan.
medyo paunahan scenario yan, di ba?
Yeah, it is going to be standard paunahan for these two in terms of who can get their main abilities off first. The good thing for the Jawhead is he has anti-crowd control. So the Vexana pick up for TNC and a last pick carry. So they do flex the Roger, put it in the hands of Carl TZ in the jungle, and Benny Cutie goes for the carry. I like that TNC. I want to focus a little bit more TNC because they're the team right now that has a lot of questions. This draft looks relatively easy to pull off.
Oo. Kaya lang, alam mo, gusto ko din banggitin, yung fact na in terms of flexibility, talagang nasa TNC Pro Team, 15 picks na ang TNC Pro Team unique heroes pick. Whereas for Team Liquid Echo, they've always used the same hero na paulit-ulit gumagana sa kanila.
I mean, it's been that story, right? Kasi so far, they are undefeated in terms of matches. Nakita natin na paulit-ulit nilang ine-execute yan. And as of this moment, the TNC hopefuls, right? The Phoenix Army is really looking forward for them to get a victory that's very much necessary para makuha nila ang panalo. Both the Cavalry and the Phoenix Army ay talagang pinaghahandaan itong matchup na to because Week 2 is a crucial point, possibly a turning point habang para dito pa lang makuha mo na kagad yung momentum mo to get the victory, right?
It's good to know that we have at least one dude in the crowd that smells good.
Yeah.
But I know our crowd smells amazing. That's what I love about the MPL PH crowd. You shower.
I mean, yup. That's right. Why did you have to say that? But okay.
Sige, just say.
Wag niyo lang kakalimutan. Wag niyo lang
Shout out
kakalimutan.
sa mga
Major
taga
love
Manila.
sa lahat ng mga tao na nanonood sa ating venue and especially to the people na nanonood mula sa Tarlac City. Pinapapunta na kayo dito, mag-boost na daw kayo.
Oo nga, ito na yun.
Hindi ko alam kung paano kayo pupunta dito, pero pupunta na kayo because in just a bit, we'll be seeing these two teams and I am sure that SDZYZ's return will be welcomed very well ng kupunan ng Team Liquid Philippines. But the question is, how will they fare? This lineup that seems to still be a puzzle that the Phoenix Army is continuing to figure out ay malalaman natin in just a bit on how they will recreate. I'm still not sure how they will, like focus on things, pero sigurado ako na mas narinis na nila yan over the week.
Definitely. We mentioned the mid trio. Julian, Vex, and Tigreal can be dangerous for the lineup of TLPH if they aren't
Crowd
careful.
control galore.
Yeah, crowd control galore. But the good thing is you have the passive of the Aurora to potentially negate an early pick-off. Because imagine if they blow their skills a little bit too early, then Aurora still survives. That doesn't feel good.
Talagang paunahan lang ang mangyayari sa ating mid laner. And yun na nga, yung ating third keys to victory. Kaya naman makikita na natin in just a while kung sino nga bang mauuna.
Seems like the Cavalry and the Phoenix Army are ready for action. Rekta na natin sa game number 1. Casters, kayo naman.
Welcome to the first matchup of today. It's TNC Pro Team going up against Team Liquid Philippines. A best of 3, a race for the Phoenix Army to get points while the Cavalry will keep on galloping. Leo here at your service alongside Jose Ingan. The draft was a good back and forth. Again, early on it started with a blitz, but I'm already picking out a few points here. Number 1, Liquid PH stole away the Aurora.
Stole away the Aurora, and at the same time, it's interesting to note that JP still using the same hero after 4 games. We're in week number 2, and we have yet to see the other JP heroes that really excel or show his performance with the Roman as we enter the land of Dawn. TNC again looking to win their very first game in game number 1.
Come on, Daddy JP, show us something new. First pick the Jawhead in Kazakhstan, showing us shades of a brand new meta on the horizon, and we are knee-deep in that right now. It's still surreal. Can I just say, it's surreal to see SDZYZ back in an MPL PH stage.
After a very long time. Like, I believe the last time that he was here, TNC had a good run. I believe they finished 3rd or 4th.
That was season
if I'm correct.
10.
Season 10,
season 10 he was here. They struggled, and then he spent a good year and a half elsewhere, and now he's back home. Good folks watching from all around the world, welcome. Not much action yet currently in the first minute of the game, but look at this huge presence from TNC in mid.
Yeah, and we can see that TLPH really will still go with their usual flow. They actually have a 100% first blood rate. 2 went to Carl TZ and 1 with Sanji, so we can expect them to really be aggressive, especially since, Jawhead has been picked here again for JP. And in terms of, wait a minute, heads, flickers out. And the aggression of TNC is showing there as well as TLPH. And as I was saying, it's easier to go for those isolated pickoffs when you have the Joyd compared to the Tigreal. So I can really expect TLPH to not just group up, but actually divide and conquer TNC.
Oh, I reckon TLPH are pushing TNC's buttons, but it seems like they won't allow these buttons to be pushed not so easily. Because again, TNC, they're sticking to this 3-man trio, and amongst a Julian, a Tigreal, and an Aurora, it's a lot of CC coming in!
Look at that, Escalera with a beautiful pickup. And now JP's the first man down here. First blood again for TNC. And this time, TLPH, their 100% pickoff rate in the first blood is now demolished by the Phoenix Army.
And TNC took out of the equation a very important part of TL's aggression.
Carl TZ wasn't able to get that turtle away. Penalty zone in once again. And it looks like Carl TZ is going to fall down. Escalera, last effort. He's going to fall down as well. Sanford was able to flicker out, but here comes JP going right after SDZYZ. Will he fall down as well? I think the damage is not going to be enough, and TNC turns things around as they take another man down.
Daniel Chu, where were you all these years? I know exactly where you were. Cambodia, Malaysia, but also Egypt. But no, he's a man on a mission. I am so happy seeing TNC this aggressive this early on. Shades of this we saw in week 1. And now, with the right draft, with the right rotation from their trio mid, it seems like they can take down TLPH a good notch. I wonder where the Cavalry goes from here, because again, they can't just go off JP anymore.
Yeah.
And this is one of the main weaknesses of a Jawhead lineup. It was a good couple of coaches I talked to in the offseason saying, yeah, Jawhead is great, but if the Jawhead is on the back foot, there's very little he can do.
Oh, speaking of back foot, Escalera's really been doing a good job here, making sure that JP doesn't get in the position that he really wants. And at the same time, I believe TLPH can actually turn things around, especially in the middle game, with how TNC's been performing recently. They've always dominated the early game, but for some reason, they just boiled down into the mid game.
They have that. They do have that. That has been a chronic disease that has been ailing the Phoenix Army.
Yeah.
We're in, what, 9 minutes, 10 minutes in?
Yes.
They seem to slip up and they get punished so hard. I'm wondering if the Cavalry's going to find that out. 3-1 here, just under 4 minutes in. Looking at the major goal differences lane per lane. This is odd. Look at Benny Cutie. He's up 400 away from Gozen. Oh, wait, look at this!
Oh, I think the first target here is going to be, who's that? It's going to be onto JP. And this is what you were saying. It's hard to pull off a jawhead if you're the one getting picked off all the time.
Last time we saw this was Season 8. The Tigreal and Jawhead, wherein the Tigreal would be more than happy to be thrown in the thick of things because he'd be in prime position to hit the implosion. And here he comes!
And Sanford goes in, but on the backline, it's going to be heads with the penalty zone into Carl TC. Like his pounce is there as far as the Fidget Grazier, but Sanford soaking up every single damage. He's still going to bring one down. Escalera's going to fall as well, as long... Oh, look at that JB flicker in, not going to connect with the ejector. And now TLPH on the driving here. I think this is the power spike that TLPH is waiting for.
And this is enough for TLPH to score what we call in the business a technical knockout. They didn't get many kills on the way out, but they pushed TNC far back enough to get a free turtle. 1-for-1 apiece, now 5 minutes in.
I mean, Sanford, the performance of Sanford so far is great. The Flicker and Earth Shatter combination, as long as making sure he utilizes the passive of the Edith before casting that Primal Wrath. Although he was taken down, he was still able to take down Escalera. And it was up against 3 members of TNC, 1-on-3. So that was a huge play coming in from Sanford.
He lasted 2 seconds longer than any one of us could. It's amazing what Team Liquid PH have done. And now, they have undone TNC's gold lead from the early game, leaving the laning phase now, approaching the mid game. If anything, we can look back and say, you know what, JP could afford to die anyways.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
of all of the members of Team Liquid, JP was the one who really did not mind.
Maybe Sanji, as long as he has a pride device. But in this case, JP is really doing his job, soaking up the damage. And Escalera here. Oh, is he going to spot out Sanji? Sanford. Oh, but Sanji smells it. That's why he was able to flicker out. Here comes Heads with the penalty zone once again. Frigid Glacier for the counter attack. And look at JP right after Escalera. But Sanford is first man down. Are they going to pick up Escalera? I think not. And this time TNC manages to switch things around and regain the lead once again.
That's what you call a heads-up play.
Heads-up play from Heads.
He did not hesitate. Went in for the penalty zone, which was a raw penalty zone, Jose. Can I just tell you? His flicker was off of cooldown, so he hit the full-on distance between him and his target just with sheer courage. He was just bold enough to say, you know what, I'm going to get you. And they did get Sanford. But what's important still is they protected Sanji.
Okay, now Escalera here alongside Kozen. I think they know that TLPH has a plan to pick off at least one member before engaging in the turtle fight. And now TLPH this time still in full control. I mean, the position is nice here for the side of the Cavalry. But look at this, Escalera still manages to find Sanford. That's one initiation down, and the Frigid Glacier has casted as well. This time, JV picks up one member. Heads has to back away, and the Spear of Destruction. Moskov will bring down JP. And now TNC on the attack. The Phoenix Army right now making noise.
Call it a bullseye. The fight continues.
Sanford picks up Escalera here, but TLPH manages to bring him down as well alongside Heads. Sanford with a crucial Primal Wrath once again as Carl Teasy, the birthday boy, belated happy birthday by the way, takes down the turtle.
Interesting how in a turn of events, Team Liquid PH saved their marbles for a rainy day. They did not activate Carl, they did not activate Benny Cutie up until it mattered. And right then and there, when Heads and Escalera went down, there was no front line for TNC, and that's what opened up the final turtle for the Cavalry to take over. Ingan, I hate to say it, but you said it. It happened. There is a mid-game point wherein Liquid PH would hit that power spike, hit that window of opportunity where TNC would have to do it all in or not, and they missed it. Now there's a 2K gold lead for the defending champions.
Yeah, and actually look at JP's stat line 040. That's actually misleading, okay? Because you can see that he's doing his part as the roam.
That's
he's
his
able to displace Escalera. Whenever he checks his brushes, Escalera has to back away and at the same time soak up the damage. And Escalera actually used the implosion play onto JP. That's why TNC had no way of re-engaging with the fight once that seal has been casted.
Not just JP, he even did it to Sanford.
Yeah.
And Sanford is more than welcome. There is a 2-layer insurance policy for Team Liquid PH protecting their cores. And they have 3 cores. Oh, look at this!
JP with a conceal. Where are they going to get target? Hatred is the first man down again. And TLPH on a rampage. 2 members have fallen here. Make it 3. STZYZ goes down. Carl TZ on the hunt once again. Escalera, no more members left with him. He's going to fall down. Kazin nowhere to be found. And TLPH marches forward.
Case is in the bench. It's Kozin you're looking for.
Oh, sorry.
It's a 4 for none. And off camera, Kozin was just working the turret. Once more, let's break down that engagement up top. An amazing initiation by Team Liquid Philippines. And again, already that's where it all crumbled down for the Phoenix Army. They were just reacting, and they were spread out too far, too thin for Escalera's amazing set to matter. And because of that, it's what they call in the Philippines an audition. They all stepped in one at a time.
Step up, but JP manages to throw heads once again as they take the first Lord. JP doing wonders for TLPH now.
That's a struggle for TNC, man. They can't throw hands because they get thrown heads.
Yeah.
And that's one frontliner that they need. SDZYZ can sure come in, weave through with an enhanced sword, dash in, dash out, but you really need 2 frontliners, 2 chunky boys to break through what JP and Sanford are doing.
And I actually like what you mentioned a while ago about TNC being reactive. Because even Sanji is reactive. He has to wait for the implosion or even the penalty zone. And once that's been casted, he's just going to cast the Frigid Glacier. That's why the counter attack of TLPH is really executed to perfection.
It's a catch-22 for TNC.
Yeah.
They can find Benny, they can find Sanji, but Sanji has 2 layers of protection. The Flicker and the Pride of Ice. Not even a Purify. He could have purified it. It would have been so much easier for him. But instead, he chose the more aggressive battle spell, the Flicker. And it's because of this paradox that TNC has to solve, wherein we know that you have a solid front line, we know that you have these layers of protection. How do we even find that? They were okay in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Past that, it's been a struggle.
At the 5-minute mark, as soon as TLPH was able to get that turtle, it was TLPH's game. They were at the driver's seat from then on. And I like that you mentioned Benny Cutie has a lot of shields. Even JP's been serving as a shield for Benny Cutie.
That's why it's 0-4.
That's why it's 0-4-4. They can't manage to get to Benny Cutie because of JP.
And the whole map acted as a shield for Benny Cutie, right?
Yeah.
It was so difficult for TNC with that heavy trio, mid and even heads to find one target. It wasn't worth it for the Phoenix Army. I think this is something that the analysts can break down later on in further detail, but that was the crux of it all. TLPH have spread their eggs enough in many different baskets that the Phoenix Army can only really chase one. And I think that's a stroke of wisdom from them. You know what they say about chasing 2 rabbits?
Yeah.
You can, was it rabbits or ducks?
Ducks. I think it's rabbits.
Regardless, they chose their lane, they stuck to it, and TLPH punished them for doing so.
Making sure that they react TNC to how they really want them to react. They're really dictating the pace, dictating what TNC wants to do. And now TLPH just really, honestly, they're just waiting for formalities. They're just waiting for the Lord at this point.
And this is a Lord that should come easy for the Cavalry. Something to note, TNC can still find a way out. Number 1, take down JP for free.
Yeah.
Take him down for free. Sanford especially. Take those 2 down for free, costing relatively less than 2 ults and maybe a battle spell. That's it. Tops economy. But from there on, don't even think of finding Benny Cutie. Like that is a
That's
moonshot.
not top 1.
That's a tall order. Maybe you take down 40, Carl, and JP. Those are your 3, and then you can go from there.
Oh, wait.
Kozin's found out!
I think they're going to spot out where Kozin's hiding.
He had to spend his Purify.
Oh, no. This is crucial. TLPH, they were able to force TNC to expend battle spells without even actually initiating anything or expending anything. But Escalera, they got the cancel. Implosion wasn't casted there. Now TLPH on the counterattack once again. JP soaking up every single damage. He's the first man down, but TLPH still being able to dish out the damage that they need. That's 1 member down for TLPH, but will TNC contest for this Lord?
Oh no, it was a trade, and it was well worth it. Daddy JP for the major objective. I'll take that any day, twice on Fridays.
But Benny! 1 more to bring down the head. Luckily, they were able to survive that. Now transitioning here to the middle lane. And you know, JP, shades of Chaknu from their last game wherein he sacrificed himself for Omega to secure an uncontested Lord. And that was the plan after all for TLPH. Make sure that JP expends his flicker, overextends, and TNC focuses on him instead of the Lord that TLPH was getting.
If you check the receipt, JP would be free, asterisk.
Yeah.
He wouldn't really be free. You spend a couple of ults and you open it up for the contest. And now that's what we're looking at. A Lord in mid, a false engage down bottom, 14 minutes in. I'm seeing at least 2 inhibitors falling, Ian.
2 inhibitors, maybe 3, but I'm sure TLPH wants to look for a pickoff here. Sanford leading the charge. Oh, look at the damage coming in from Carl Teasy. Escalera really not managing to defend those attacks. And now they're able to bring down the middle lane here, transitioning into the top lane. But I still think TNC, they still have it in them to defend this attack.
It's not over till it's over. 2 more inhibitors stand, and there wasn't much of a wave down bottom either. Liquid PH only take down mid, the main artery. If anything, I'll count TNC's blessings for him. This is the best case scenario. You would rather lose mid in a situation like this than you lose either of the outer lanes.
Agree. Especially when it comes to the Lord dances. And you only lost 1 without suffering any casualties. At this point, Escalera still has his flicker and Implosion Placer. They can still manage to get the pick off, even just JP. That's good enough, especially if you want to contest for this Lord.
Let me add to the wish list for the Phoenix Army. It's not impossible that they set up a backdoor play. Number 1, looking at the long lane, that is bottom lane, and there's just but the second tier turret and then the inhibitor from there. So what you could do as TNC is feign a Lord contest, feign a fight, so that you give Kozin enough time to maybe break down the inhibitor there.
But again, the problem is TLPH, the masters of the backdoor. They were able to pull off one last week, so I'm pretty sure Benny Cutie, with his knowledge of the wave management, it's going to be hard to pull off a backdoor against TLPH.
Takes one to know one.
Yeah.
But there is one advantage that TNC can leverage besides the whole knowledge and muscle memory for TLPH to do such. Their lineup is built for that. Look at this, between an Tigreal and a Teresa. Oh, JP!
Ah, the robot's running right after her heads, but Escalera oh, the flicker play was there! And now TLPH. No resources expended here for TNC, but that was still a death evaded for JP. That was a good try, though.
I know, that was a TikTok attempt.
Yeah, TikTok attempt.
As the kids like to call it. It's the flicker animation cancel into the Unstoppable Force ejector. Yeah, that was a close call. But that is one thing that TNC does know very well. So Escalera, great heads-up play. Heads knows too, but what's commendable is Heads did not commit his flicker. He could have gotten so shocked and scared, like, oh.
Yeah. Especially since that they really want to pin down at least one member before this Lord. They didn't overcommit, so this is the reason why they can actually contest for this Lord this time.
All right, Lord here at a third of itself, an eighth, a fifth. Not healing. Here we go.
Oh, it's going to be a retribution battle. Going to go on to Carl Teasy, but a counterattack for the Phoenix Army is there. But look at Gozen going right after in the middle. But Benny Cutie still manages to dish out the damage and bring down STCYZ for Sanford. Sanji going right after the backline here alongside Carl Teasy. He's going to get pinned down by Escalera, but is the damage going to be enough? Because TLPH gets the Lord and the kill.
Great rope-a-dope there by Sanji, keeping himself safe. Expending the flicker, but not the Pride of Ice. Use that purple buff wall to elude TNC. That was close. If they lost Sanji, that would have been 2 things. Number 1, huge shutdown gold for TNC, and this would have been a less lethal Lord push. Now back to the, I'd say, possibly the last push, right? If TNC don't defend this,
Third Lord.
They're fine. I think Sanford being out is a blessing. This is fine.
Oh, Conceal coming in from Escalera. They really want to go right after Carl TC here. They were able to burst down the Lord without inhibitor turrets taken down. But still, TNC was able to defend it. And I'd like to go back to Sanji because if you've seen the last clash, Sanji, we keep saying this even during international tournaments. Sanji's one of those mid laners that uses his flicker not to retreat but to attack.
Yep.
That's how courageous, that's how powerful Sanji is whenever he gets his comfort picks. And looking at the KDA, 406 for Sanji with the Aurora. I don't even think that the Pride of Ice was ever expended.
Yep.
The whole game?
It wasn't. Hasn't been. He's been a third of his health down.
Wow.
The furthest, and it was in that sequence, and then he's fine. He's safe. So now 8K ahead, 18 minutes in. We are approaching the upper limits of what a game should be in the current meta game. In a professional MLBB, about a minute until the next Lord. And I'll tell you now, Ingan, more now than ever, I think this is a Lord that's actually contestable for TNC.
I think so
The
too.
longer the game goes, the more items are put on the TNC, despite how miserable and how deprived they are of gold and XP in the elapsed time so far. And that's going to get closer and closer to deadlock. And the fact that they only lost mid lane inhibitor means the map is still slightly favored for them.
Plus, again, they have the Moskov, one of the late game gods that can actually manage waves properly, but at the same time still be in the clash, especially if the Spear of Destruction hits. So TNC, this is where they want to prove the doubters wrong. People have been saying that they have no closer. They can't close games. They can start strong, but this time, with the circumstances being slightly in their favor compared to the past games, I think this is the perfect time to show them, to show everyone that TNC can really bounce back and close games.
Here's the hoping SDZYZ can pull a second wind because he had a great start. 3 minutes in, was calling all the shots. Now approaching the 20-minute mark. Can this Julian come in clutch? Can SDZYZ steal away a Lord from Carl Atizi? So far, so good, just managing the waves. Propping up for this third Lord. This is an evolved Lord. It comes with a passive. It's going to hurt more in team fights. Again, I'm getting flashbacks here. SDZYZ, Carl Atizi, they used to face off before Carl became a world champion, before SDZYZ made his debut in MPL.
This time SDZYZ is saying, I'm back, I'm ready, but they able to find Escalera. Carl Atizi is going to walk back there. No death so far. Now JP on the counter-attack. They still have their ultimates, as well as the Primal Wrath and Frigid Glacier. Heads, they're really going out after heads. And now Sanford Flicker in! Frigid Glacier is there! Plus the throw coming in from JP, but the penalty zone is there. Benny Cutie just managing to dish out the damage from the backline as 3 members of the Phoenix Army will fall down, but on the top lane, Kozin is there making sure that they're able to push an inhibitor tower at least, but I think he has to go away because TLPH wants to make sure that the Crystal will fall down as they take game number 1!
A base race was attempted by both, but the map favored the Cavalry. Team Liquid PH walks away with the victory. 1-0. That was a valiant effort, and I gotta say, TNC just pulled out all the stops, and that's what the deck dealt to them, and they did what they could.
MLBB proving that this is still a numbers game. And in that case, the bottom push coming in from TLPH, they had the numbers during that time.
Folks, to throw it over to the Infinix Game Tambayan as we try to break down Game 1.
This is the Cavalry coming through in situations like this. Alam nila kung ano yung gagawin. TNC had quite the lead from the first few minutes. But again, dito sa Infinix Game Tambayan, we've witnessed at nakita natin kung paano binaliktad at dinomina ng TLPH ang entirety ng Game 1.
A base race? Like TNC Pro Team really decided to call for a base race. That was one of the riskiest calls. It didn't pay out for them. A base race?
Maganda yung naging intentions ng TNC Pro Team. It is just that naging madali for the side of Team Liquid Philippines na mag-back away. And yun yung nagiging difficulty, right, with the Moskov because you're always -1. Meaning, ang tendency ng kabilang kalaban, i-run down kayo kasi alam nila na wala yung isa sa mga primary damage dealers nyo. That outplay from Carl TZ doon sa Last Lord, hindi siya nabigyan. Kaya naman nakapag-back siya sa base na defend niya while the rest of Team Liquid Philippines went in for the win.
Yun na sana yun eh, di ba? It would have been a turning point para sa kupunan ng TNC, but this is the guy, the one that got away. I should say, it's Sanji na ang gamit ay yung kanyang Aurora, the MVP of Game 1.
Yeah, the one that got away and the one that they really just couldn't get. Atianar, you pointed out something about the passive of Sanji. Would you like to repeat it for our viewers?
Okay, kung hindi nyo po nabalikan, at most, once lang nag-proc yung Pride of Ice ni Sanji. And it wasn't even that he was playing safe. Ang ganda lang ng pwesto niya to the point na kahit mag-flicker in siya, hindi siya naaabot ng koponan ng TNC Pro Team. And Hans, you were mentioning this bago tayo mag-start dito sa ating Infinix Game Tambayan, na early game, nasa TNC Pro Team. But Renmar, second and third turtle, doon na nag-start yung kalbaryo nila.
Yeah, one of the trends that I saw in this game was that for the shorter team fights, for the ones where it would be TNC getting the pick off, the one getting the first vision, and the one who will get the first kill, it goes good for them. But the
Yes.
longer the team fight goes, TLPH just shows how damn good they are at fighting. They reposition in mid-team fight. They decide to go forward when TNC expects them to go back a little bit just because that they've lost one. And that's one thing that I felt like was hanging over TNC. The entire game number one, it felt like as the series went on, they started to overthink a little bit more of, oh wait, do we fight now? We have to watch out for the Edith. Can we even reach the Aurora? We're up against a Roger. It seems like, yeah, the lineup of TNC is easier to pull off. TLPH, though, they have so many things for their lineup that TNC needs to overthink.
Yep. Kaya nga, nakita natin, best exhibited yon nung second Lord, kung saan na-pick off ng TNC Pro Team si JP.
Yeah.
But then what happened is, because they were overthinking, na nagkakaroon ng difficulty for them to move forward. Kasi kahit lamang sila in terms of numbers, meron, kumbaga, hanging at the back of their minds na, paano kapag na-chain crowd control tayo? Paano kapag hindi tayo nakapag-free hit?
Oh, by the way, that's an Aurora with a Sky Piercer. In my head, I was thinking, is that right? But yeah, it is. I mean, they couldn't take out the Aurora. I think it was the third or fourth item that Sanji ended up, the third item that Sanji ended up building.
Pero isa nga lang eh. Yun lang yung katangi-tanging time na nag-proc yung passive, just like what you said.
Yup.
So, aside from the point na medyo naging maingat at naging sobrang kalkulado yung galaw nitong si Sanji, TNC was also thinking about the 7K gold lead na tangan ng Team Liquid Philippines. Probably the reason why they went for the Lord. But again, strength in numbers. That's what you would expect from TNC. They have the Teresa. They have the Tigreal. Parang alam mo na their lineup is usually built for team fights, right?
Yeah. For TNC Pro Team, again, they were thinking about multiple conditions. Number one, will JP conserve his ultimate or use it from the beginning? And most of the time, it was JP just going ahead into the front line. Even though he gets taken down, classic roamer mentality, ako na lang, wag naman yung yung kampi ko. Ako na lang yung kunin nyo. And that's what they did. After that, you have to overthink the Edith. Will she have the primal wrath stacks? Then you think about the entry of Carl Tizzy as the Roger. Then you think about,
Ang dami.
there's so many things they have to overthink.
And again, dito pa rin pumapasok ulit yung fact lang na kahit strength in numbers, dahil ang dami yung kailangang i-overcome, that makes you second guess. And yung span ng second guessing ngayon, yun yung time na biglang, umaari pa pala yung kalaban, kaya pa pala nilang pumalag.
Now that brings me to the point na 'di ba hindi nga na-convert yung kill doon kay Carl Tizzy that one time. I felt like even when Carl Tizzy was down, mahihirapan pa rin sila to actually secure the Lord just because of the way that they're approaching things. The way that they're trying to force those team fights alone.
Yeah, there were two major plays. Auntie Anara touched on it earlier. That second Lord wherein they already picked off JP and they decided to back off to altogether help clear back a little minion wave, which TLPH said, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and rush the Lord. And then that last play, with Carl Tizzy already brought low, with your Moskov up top, split pushing, why didn't TNC pull the trigger and say, yeah, let's just go fight this in the Lord? Because Kozen's already pressuring the side. There were so many times where I'm wondering, TNC, why don't you want to commit?
Kaya nilang kontrolin yung Lord fight at that point. Ang naging parang caveat lang talaga ay walang ultimate, walang implosion doon yung Tigreal. So I guess that's what made them hesitate with that entire play. But still, again, we have been mentioning na kahit strength in numbers, hindi na nga strength in numbers, 4 versus 4 na lang yung kaganapan na yun. And even then, yung chain crowd control coming from the Julian, coming from the Jawhead, and even from the Vexana, I think those kinds of things are more than enough na i-capitalize ng koponan muna ng TNC Pro Team para in a way, makahawak ulit sila ng kakaunting espasyo doon sa laban.
Yeah, honestly, this is gonna be a lot to untangle, a lot to unfold para sa Phoenix Army. But you can also have to give it to the side of Team Liquid Philippines kasi sobrang ganda ng kanilang naging execution.
Oh, yes.
Especially from those
Yes.
turtle fights na napansin natin right from the start.
Second
right?
and third
I mean,
turtle
second
talaga.
and third turtle, parang doon nila biglang nag-flip yung switch and that's the switch that you were talking about.
Yeah, and this is what we see and what we get from a team that's been playing together for a long time. Chemistry was the main question
Yep.
hanging above this entire series, one of the main things. And it just goes to show how well Team Liquid PH understands, number one, as a team, how the other members of your team will want to play. Who will position where?
Yep.
Who will decide to go forward? The
And kung
strengths
sino
of each
yung
abilities.
itatarget.
And who is going to get targeted, who they're going
Yep.
to target. The more we talk about this, parang sinasabi natin na, ay, imposible dito na maka-comeback TNC. Hindi naman eh. It's just that we have to acknowledge the fact that TLPH just showed at the moment that you mentioned, there were times where they just said, uy, TLPH tayo, we're TLPH. Why don't we just fight this?
Yes.
I think that's exactly what I saw the one time na si Escalera nandun sa ilalim ng torre and then everybody else was just juggling for damage na
Yeah.
no one was taking, no one was, dying as of that moment. They were just having the right amount of execution and that's what
Yep.
the chemistry na binabanggit ni Renmar kanina has been transitioning to the gameplay and we've seen JP na sige, kahit mawala ako dito, basta may alay akong isa sa inyo, that works for all of us,
Yeah,
right? It's
and-
for the greater good of this team.
Oo. Pati nga rin, no, yung first turtle, yung fact lang na napanghawakan yun ng, ng TNC Pro Team was more testament enough na kaya nilang pumalag. Kaya lang, again, dito bumabalik yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina, na kapag alam ng koponan mo kung sino yung kailangang i-target, naka-double kill si Sanford, third turtle if I remember correctly. Because of that, nagkaroon ng space si Carl Tizzy, nagkaroon ng space si Benny Cutie to reposition himself. And by the 5th minute mark, that's after the second turtle, makikita natin na si Carl Tizzy na yung nakasplit. 4 na miyembro ng TLPH magkakasama, ginigiba yung dalawang lanes, tapos yung natitirang isang lane, kay Carl Tizzy na yun.
Well, they're gonna have to figure out another way to get a victory
Yes.
because kung sakali na makuha nila yon, they will stay undefeated in terms of matches. But you can also stay undefeated as you give us your freshest look dito mismo sa MPL Arena dahil naghahanap tayo ng Index Salon Beauties. Would like to give them a major shout out for our look today. Kung sisilipin mo yan, alright, I'm gonna push it right over there again and then you'll see Auntie Anara. And then in just a snap, makikita nyo na kagad ang freshest faces natin in the audience. Hala, si Auntie Anara talagang sinulit yung time.
Sulit na sulit ang
Diba?
airtime.
I mean, fresh cut. Okay, I see it. Riz Master, Aura plus 10,000.
Yan.
Okay,
Aura nyo kami.
Okay, sige.
Ay, mas payan pa tayo.
Yan ang aura. Yan ang aura
yung aura,
talaga.
pinakita yung Versace.
Literal. Okay, I see everything. All right, you love to see it. And of course, I love the fresh cut. Fresh cut mula sa ating mga ayan, shoutout din sa ating mga student leaders mula sa TUP. Pero ang hinahanap natin ay yung fresh face. Madam, eto na ba yun? Ikaw na daw yata to. Ikaw ang freshest face natin sa audience for today. Thank you so much for supporting MPL Philippines and nagpapasalamat din ang TNC for your support. You'd love to see the audience as fresh as they are and I'm sure that they are enjoying what is happening. Pero para sa dalawang kupunan, I feel like Team Liquid has more of that enjoyment factor. But knowing them, job's not finished. They'd want to get the series done.
They look fresher. Although, I do want to say TNC Pro Team, I like that we mentioned in the beginning how the time when TNC Pro Team reached 3rd in MPL Philippines back in Season 9, they were textbook. Their early game, the first, leading up to the first turtle, right? Everything was textbook. Second turtle, it was still there, but the TLPH played better. As it went on, we were reminded that this meta now is a whole different textbook.
True.
That it's not just step A, step B, step B, step C, step A, step B, step C.
Okay.
Leading to step C, you can go off to the side and do other things and make it not so obvious what you're gonna do.
Yep.
Now, I'm so glad that you've mentioned more about Season 9 and Season 10 because if we remember correctly, napag-usapan din natin si SDZYC. This is his first game back after not being in MPL Philippines. Like, how do you prepare yourself mentally for game number 2? Kasi that was a a win for you guys in the early game, and should you have taken care of it, diba, things would have been completely different. So if you're SDZYZ, what can you do at this point? How will you get the first win para sa Phoenix Army?
Reset agad. Parang yun talaga yung best thing, no? Na pagkatapos nating balikan yung nangyari noong game number 1, kailangan we see what we did great. And then yung great na yun yung kailangan nating i-capitalize on as we head on to game number 2. Yung sinasabi namin ni Renmar, no, na textbook TNC nung first, 3 minutes ng match, yun yung kailangan nilang i-replicate all throughout while looking out for what's bound to happen next.
Yeah, that's not just advice or analysis from Antianara, the analyst. That was Antianara, the former collegiate player. You played in college, right?
Yes!
Yeah.
It probably still is.
Yeah, I remember we'd play custom games with Antianara, and every time Antianara was in the team opposite mine, I would cry. No one can play against his mid lane.
Yeah, but if you're his teammate, then it's an obvious win.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of have mixed emotions about
Okay,
it.
back to the draft!
All right,
Come on,
back
man,
to
we're
the
building
draft.
you up.
We're hyping you up.
Thank you, thank you.
Kailangan mo makita yun. But again, just like what we would say, one of the good things na sinabi mo nga, Antianara, is to look at what SDZYZ has done. And for the first few minutes na nakita nating laban, it's SDZYZ na medyo hindi nagalusan for like the first 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So, at some point, that's nice, right? And Ling, Ruby, posibleng makatulong yan para sa Phoenix Army.
Same pa din yung
Yeah.
TLPH.
Except they go for the Zask now. And after TNC Pro Team locked in the Ruby and the Ling, Wolf rubbed his hands together as if like he was either excited or
Parang may
expecting
niluluto.
it. Yeah, it's like he's cooking something up. But I like seeing the Ling up against the Zask.
Oo, pero alam mo, gusto ko lang din i-bring up yung fact, no, na I would say this Ruby will probably go into the gold lane. Feeling ko lang.
Gold Ruby?
Feeling ko lang.
All right, I like the brave analysis. Let's see if that'll happen. Although that does make sense. You have the Roger that you're up against. So if ever the Ruby will get flexed into the gold lane, that's going to be difficult for either Benny Cutie or Carl TZ to decide to enter the game, to enter fights. So with the Turisla, again, TNC Pro Team are just continuing that trend of play it safe. And you know what? I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards the gold Ruby side now. Because if you're showing the Terizla, the obvious
na yun.
the obvious thing to think is, oh, that's an EXP lane Terizla and that's a roam Ruby.
Pero yun na nga, yung ganitong klase ng flexibility. Alam mo, Renmar, gusto ko lang din balikan, no? Maraming sigurong nagtatanong from our audience kung bakit nga ba nataguri ang textbook TNC, yung TNC nung panahon ni SDZYZ. Ang dami namang salita.
It rhymes.
Kasi nga, bukod sa fact na siya yung nagpauso nung emblem before, yung Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Yun din yung time na kahit assassin siya, sinesemai-tank niya yung gamit.
Yeah.
So now na bumalik tayo sa assassin meta, alam natin na yung mechanics ni SDZYZ is there.
Yeah, and we got to see it in game number. I feel like one of the reasons why the first 3 minutes really just went to the side of TNC Pro Team in game 1 was that they were expecting the Julian of SD. And SD had a relatively good KDA. So now heading into the second phase, ooh, Angela!
Wow.
So they were thinking that they'd go Angeling and they take the high loss. Wolf's laughing and he's happy about it. Oh, they're playing the macro. I like this. I think this is the approach of TNC Pro Team up against a Zask.
Yeah.
The Zask, you want to fight in an area, so TNC Pro Team said, all right, we'll open up the map, but this is a good response to open up the map. They pick up the Fanny.
Carl TZ using a Fanny. We haven't seen this in a while. A lot of people were saying na from the past seasons that he's been struggling na gumamit ng mga assassins. Over the previous tournaments, it has always been like this. Pero ngayon, unti-unti niyang pinapakita. And now, probably one of the hardest assassins to use in the game. Fanny's making an entry for Team Liquid.
And alam mo, interestingly enough, even in his streams, inaamin naman ni Carl TZ na nanibago siya nung bumalik siya sa paggamit ng Fanny. But now that we're back here, definitely nakapag-adjust na si Carl TZ using that Fanny. But then still, the Kufra is open for the side of TNC Pro Team.
I would want to go safe here and pick up basic attack damage. No, it is a Gold Ruby. What a prediction! It's a Gold Lane Ruby and TNC Pro Team. Good pick up with the Cho because you get your lockdown up against that Fanny. This is a risky play by TNC Pro Team, but it could work.
And what you were mentioning right from the start, diba? They were playing it a bit on the safe side noong game number 1. Now they're going all in on the risk.
That's just crazy, bro.
All in na, okay.
That's
Sige,
a sudden swerve.
Yeah, you know what? We have crowd controls from the I Am Offended. Nandyan din yung Way the Dragon. At some point, we'll find a way to catch that Fanny. But in terms of this lineup, it seems like TLPH has more of the ways in executing.
Yeah,
right?
and alam mo kung babalikan natin yung nangyari ng week 1, no? The tendency is yung Cho makakancel yung animation ng Way of the Dragon because what? We have an Edith, we have a Grok na kayang mag-wild charge agad. So yun yung kailangang i-watch out for ng TNC.
Well, we're about to find that out, whether or not TLPH will get the victory or whether or not TNC will take it. Casters, pasok.
Welcome to
Leo here with
Mobile
Jose
Legends.
Ingan coming at you live from the Green Sun Hotel in Makati for Game 2. It's match point for Team Liquid PH going up against TNC Pro Team. Shades of the funnel meta. It's a 1-3-1 as we like to call it here for TNC.
For TNC, I like the Ruby Gold because we've been saying that TNC is known for dominating the early game, and with the Ruby, you know, he can actually dominate up against Benny Cutie and make sure it doesn't go to a 20-minute game like we witnessed during game number 1.
That's why I kind of thought twice about it being a risky draft, as mentioned by our analysts, Antianara and Renmar Santa Cruz. Now going from lane to lane, you mentioned how maybe the Golden Ruby should be winning against the Roger. But check this out. SD just bullying Carl TZ out.
Yeah, you know, I have to admit, I've been watching Carl TZ play during his streams. He's been practicing this Fanny. And with this Fanny, it really requires a lot of protection coming in from JP. But speaking of JP, Escalera making sure that JP's not going to have a good time during the early game.
I reckon Escalera could have definitely just pressed the flicker.
Yeah.
Or maybe a second or two off of the Shun Po and just only fasted JP into a quick nap. Now, that was so close, honestly. A TKO, I'd call that for TNC.
Again, the onward. The analyst mentioned that, you know, you can disrupt the flow of how the Cho plays, especially if you have an onward. So these two roamers really knowing the capacities and the capabilities of these two heroes.
Yep. Let's mind the XP lane this time around. A little bit of spice coming in from the Cavalry. Sanford rocking the Grok, as well as the Impure Rage. So he means business. He wants to smack people.
One power of nature is going to be enough to bring down or take down at least the squishy heroes of TNC.
Yep.
So this isn't like a stationary Grok where you'll wait for the wild charge. You have to watch out also for the power of nature.
Yeah, if he finds Hatred or even SDZYZ timing through that Tempest of Blades, could definitely get him. Even Kozin has to watch out.
Yeah.
I don't count out the fact that maybe Sanford builds a Sea Halberd. So maybe even Kozin's regeneration should be compromised. So that these are the possibilities going into this first hurdle. And compared to game 1, Ian, this is a very well-paced, I'm going to call it that. I don't want to say slow, but it's a well-paced game 2.
Despite having the... What? An off-cam kill coming in from Hatred as he takes down Sanji.
Whoa!
But this time, JP with a beautiful Earth Shatter. Here's the Tempest of Blaze that we're all waiting for. Escalera onto the back line, but the wild charge coming in from Sanford. Penalty zone in. Counterattacks from both teams as JP will fall down as well.
I spoke too soon. I thought it was going to be a relatively peaceful matchup.
The moment you said it,
yeah,
something happened.
Well paced my face, Leo. All right, check it out now. 700 gold up TNC. Heads starting up this turtle. And there's a two-man coalition coming through with two more coming from the back. JP and Penny Cutie still far off.
Oh, here's the flicker,
Here
but
we go.
again, it didn't connect. Oh, it's going to connect onto Carl TZ, but he's going to fall down in the hands of SDZYZ. TNC answering right away, and that's a kill onto Carl TZ. So this is crucial because there's the turtle.
Yep, and all of this is not benefiting Benny Cutie, not as much, because he still has to deal with Kozin. And now the scrum for the turtle. There's a Tempest of Blades.
Oh, but he has to walk away because the damage coming in from TLPH is just there. Now Escalera looking for another target. He's going to go on to Sanji, and he's going to take him down as well. Heads again with the penalty zone in as SDZYZ takes care of the turtle, but Carl TZ! Happy birthday. This is my gift to you. Here comes Benny. Is he going to go right after Heads? One like it bounces. Oh, he needs to take down Heads.
He's hungry, like the wolf that he is. Benny Cutie, Bagyo del Lobo, SDZYZ, a bout of hesitation. Did you see that? Retribution is not off of cooldown. What was that? Was he CC'd for a moment there? We could definitely go back to the tapes, but TNC, I think they could definitely have walked away with so much more.
I'm not quite sure if SDZYZ actually casted his Retribution during that time. But
Or if he could even.
Or if he could, yeah. But Carl TZ heads up play. This was after the fact that he was taken down before that turtle fight. And this is the benefit of having a Fanny. You can die, but at the same time, still be present during those big skirmishes.
It's like you were never even gone. Here's a kick. Action one. JP in the air.
Oh, plus the combination with the I'm Offended play, but JP still manages to take down. Look at Carl TZ with the steel cables. Escalera, nowhere to be found.
Jomi wasn't worth it. Jomi wasn't worth it to kick JP. He had so many layers of protection too, not to mention the Primal Wrath and the Flicker. So maybe Escalera was just calling shots wherein maybe TNC couldn't have afforded it.
Yeah, and SDZYZ, I believe, has the war cry here, so he can dish out the damage, but Sanford, out of nowhere.
Oh!
Hatred has to use the Flicker, but still manages to catch him off guard, as the Dominator's descent is there to slow things around. And TNC, they really can't find their rhythm here, Leo.
Jose, call it inflation, man. A lot of these retreats from TNC are costing them so much. Look, a Flicker away for Hatred just to die. A rotation that costed an ult, and then you were the one who get punished off of Escalera's Way of the Dragon. This is a blessing in disguise. They are taking turrets, and that's the first turret scored by TNC down bottom. I guess that's one thing that they have over TLPH.
Yeah.
Sure, as the Fanny, you're very mobile, but when you're looking at just pure damage output without a compromise, without having to move around with the Fanny, I think the Ling has that over him.
SDZYZ really has to resort to split pushing. Again, they can't manage to go head-to-head with TLPH up into the late game because they don't have that gold laner, but here's a diversion play. It's going to be onto Kozin. And that's the beauty of the Zask. You can actually just check Bush from time to time, and then I'm Offended play here onto Sanford, but head's going to penalty zone in. SDZYZ casted. 4 blades not going to connect, and JP uses the Primal Wrath to dish out the damage he needs. No casualties for both teams. A lot of ultimates expended, and the third turtle is still alive.
This is very deceptive. We're looking at a turtle here that could at any time turn into a lord. Give it about a minute of not being hit. Oh, Escalera! Oh!
Carl TZ with the cutthroat.
He's
Very
trying!
fast right now.
He's trying!
Oh, Sanford. Okay.
He doesn't have a wild charge.
Still a good sign here for TNC. They're able to dish out the damage as well as SDZYZ in the picture this time. Escalera has to walk away. So, wow. I'm not sure if either of the teams can actually get this turtle with how they keep on re-engaging and engaging.
Nothing comes for free, man. Nothing comes for free. Checking out the items here. That's a Malefic Roar and a blade of Heptases on the Carl TZ. He's up by, he's down by about 200 gold away from SDZYZ's Ling, who just picked up his Haas Claws. So if you're talking about sustainability, you're looking at TNC staying a little bit longer. And look at this, the Lord, it's about to turn to a Lord about 10 seconds, but they're still holding on.
10 seconds before the Lord spawns there, but he heads penalty zone in onto 5 members. No follow-up from the Phoenix Army. They have to walk away, but Sanford catches them off guard. SDZYZ has to make a play here, but Carl's easy with the steel cables. Still alive! Unlike Escalera, he's going to fall down. SDZYZ has to walk away, but JP says no with the Earth Shatter, connecting onto 2. Kozin is the last man here for TNC, surrounded by the cavalry as he falls down, but he takes one with him. Triple kill from Betty Cutie.
3K for Benny Cutie. Oh, what a sequence, especially underneath tier 1 in mid. And no, there's
a diversion play.
Here we go.
Oh. Wow. Carl TZ showing that his prime is still here.
I think they did see the diversion coming through.
Yeah.
And they were just baiting it. And at best for TNC, it was a quick rotation. 2,000 gold ahead. Team Liquid PH. 9 minutes in. The inevitable has come through. The Lord is upon us. So that last turtle just, whatever. Like,
just to confirm, the last turtle.
They use it as an anchor. Like, this is where the fight happens. If you can't commit here, we'll get you elsewhere. And that's what TLPH did. Divide and conquer against the Phoenix Army. And what is baffling to me, Jose, look at this. TLPH, yes, they are ahead 5 kills. But even prior to that big sequence in mid, they were up by like 200, 300.
Yeah.
but it was TNC who owned the map. Look, not a single push for TLPH yet.
And it's all SDZYZ's credit, because he's been managing the waves really properly here. And now it's Carl TZ's turn to do that as well, but this time Escalera is going to catch that Earth Shatter coming in from JP. So I think TNC really needs to mind Carl TZ this time, because if not, he's going to be able to take down second turret in the top lane.
Yep, luckily they do have SD, who again, prior to that sequence, was ahead of gold. What's this?
Oh, kick onto JP here. The Primal Wrath will be casted now. This time, the counter attack from TLPH. Heads last effort with the penalties open. The Dominator's descent will slow him down. They're going to run after Heads here. A beautiful play coming in from JP as two members from TNC goes down.
Man, again, that's deja vu. TNC with the DNC. Divide and conquer. That would have been an amazing setup by Heads, even by Escalera, but there was no damage output. Oh!
What a diversion play here from TNC to bring down Carl. And this time, Benny Cutie, he's going on a rampage as he brings down Kozin. The next target is Hatred. The ball is there, but the flicker will save him. And now Power of Nature from Sanford. Is the damage going to be enough? And look at that. A knockout from Sanford.
That's a knockout. Huge clothesline. Could have been an amazing opener for TNC. The I'm offended, you're dead by Kozin. But now, oh no, they're coming in one at a time!
Spear from Sanford. SDZYZ has to make a play here, but they catch him off guard. JP once again with the onward Earth Shatter combination. The clashes never seem to end as TLPH will take this Lord.
TNC may have bitten off more than they could chew. A free Lord for the Cavalry. Looking at the items now, Carl TZ is still behind, all right? Check it out, he's still behind, but where a majority of the gold is in Benny Cutie.
Yeah.
7-0-3 up against Kozin's 2-2-0. And just the back-to-back sequences where Benny scored a majority of these 7 kills should be enough to tell TNC, hey, maybe we shouldn't pick fights. Maybe we should hold off, and maybe this Lord coming up should be a Lord we take inside our base. Which gives you now a head-scratcher. What is Hatred to do? Your main thing, your ult, is to put your whole team in a place wherein you can catch your opponents off guard. But if your opponents know that you're thinking this way, wherein you have to fight underneath your turret, what do you do?
Yeah, because Sanji is one of the actual good users of Louis, so they really know.
They know
where that diversion play will be casted. And now JP catch Hatred off guard once again.
Woo!
But a counter attack from TNC will bring down JP. And another kill coming in from Sanford, but this time 4 members are chasing right after him, and the passive will help him walk away. So that's a 1-for-1 trade, but TLPH, they still have the Lord marching in the top lane.
Ah, but it looks like the Lord died a natural death. There was enough of a few hits from a combination of minions and heroes from the top lane. And the Lord's on march! SD, Carl. Oh, they're fine.
Okay.
They're okay.
Carl TZ just really wants to prove that he can really play the Fanny.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the first time he unleashed Fanny, he wasn't really contented with how he played.
Yep.
It was really TLPH as a team carrying Carl TZ with this first Fanny game, but this time he's showing that, hey, I can hold my own. I'm a good Fanny user.
Yep, it took him a while. A good solid month we watched Carl TZ's progress working on the Fanny, and now sitting with a, respectable 3-2-3. The map belongs to Team Liquid PH. Look at this, look at this!
Charge. They're not going to wait any longer for Call TZ here because they're going to bring down Heads. And now on the way to the backline, Benny Cutie will bring down STZYZ Escalera. Is he going to manage to walk away from Sanji? No is the answer, as Kozin really dealing with 2 members here. Has to use the flicker out, and Hatred caught off guard by Benny. That's 4 members down for TNC.
You can't stop a hungry predator. Benny Curie, 10-0-3. Now they're going to the base. Kozin, can he defend?
5 seconds before Heads comes here, and now an I'm offended. Last effort to defend. He's going to take one. Look at the last coming in from Kozin. That is wild. As Heads with a clutch penalty zone. He's going to chase right after Sanford. The defense of the Phoenix Army. They're still alive.
An amazing sequence, 3 to 4 seconds of heroism from the new member of the Phoenix Army, Kozin. with the defense of a lifetime. He scored 2 kills for his team, and now they have a second win. 40, where are you going, 40? There's a kick!
Oh, there's a kick onto 40 here, but this time he's going to be shut down by STCYZ. A counterattack onto Escalera. Going to use the Tempest of Blades. Carl TZ trying to dish out the damage here. Now this time, TNC, same shades of game number 1. It's just the middle lane inhibitor turret taken down, so they can still contest for this Lord.
All right. If anything, this is closer than anything that happened in game 1 could ever be. We see here items being picked up towards the twilight of the cores. Benny Cutie picked up the GDS. You know what that means, Ingan?
Yes, what?
He's going to secure more kills. Check it out. That's his final item, dear Lord.
Great Dragon Spear. What a good addition.
And imagine how many stacks his Sky Piercer has, fam. All of them. He has all the stacks.
All the stacks still not being able taken. Oh, Benny has 12 kills. I did not realize.
More than half of those came in after the Sky Piercer.
You know, the Sky Piercer's been nerfed, but with Benny Cutie's stat line, there's no nerf.
Doesn't seem like it.
With the Sky Piercer.
Doesn't seem like it. A lot of items you should expect as well on SD and Kozen after that moment inside the base where he got a good chunk of shutdown gold.
Okay, Primal Wrath, huh?
Oh.
Has been casted here.
Lord here at a 5th of his health. An 8th, a 10th now.
Oh, it's going to be a retribution battle between the 2 junglers. SDZYC might fall down. Carlson's going to get the Lord. A counterattack from TLPH. Kozen is the next man down. Heads as well. Escalera, nowhere to go because TLPH on a roll. Hatred is the last man down. They're not going to wait for the Lord. They have minions in the middle lane. And the cavalry marches forward. Still undefeated coming in to week number 2. Liquid PH. What an amazing game.
Despite the back and forth, at the end of the day, we witnessed a Liquid stampede, trampling through the Phoenix Army in a dominant sweep. Didn't even look like Benny Cutie plays. Look at him, not a sweat.
Not a sweat. The majority of the kills from Liquid PH came from this man and this man alone. Wow. Can you do the impression of Benny Cutie Roger again?
That wasn't me.
That was you?
What are you talking about? That was Renmar.
I thought it was Renmar.
That's right.
Okay.
Renmar would come up and... You're distracted away from what we're talking about here. Team Liquid Philippines, again, scores another while TNC struggles. Let's go to the stage.
So props for TNC. This time, there's improvement.
Yeah.
Surely, they're able to do this up against TLPH, and it's nice to see STZYZ back in MPL Philippines once again.
Time is ticking, but we're not out just yet. TNC definitely has some stuff to work out, but I'd say, you know what? These are results in the lab. I'll count it as a win. You know, you gotta look at the silver lining and stay loyal to what you believe in. Here we go, for reals this time around. Let's throw it over to our host, Mara Aquino, with the winning squad, Team Liquid Philippines.
Everybody, let's give a big round of applause to TLPH. Carl, belated happy birthday. First of all, how did you spend your birthday kahapon?
Ano lang po, nagpakain lang po ako sa bootcamp, yun lang po.
Anong kinain niyo ba sa bootcamp?
Mga, kung ano-ano po, pancit, ganun, lechon, tas mga cake, pizza, ganun.
Sana naman may tira sa mga casters, pati sa amin. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Thank you po.
So, yung game number 1 nyo, it lasted 20 minutes long. Ito yung pinakamatagal na laro nyo. Bakit bumagal yung pacing nyo during that time?
Siguro po medyo nagkamali po kami ng early game kasi na-invited po ako ng jungle ng early game nun eh.
Okay. Sabi mo nga nung umpisa din na kailangan mo pang i-improve ang iyong Fanny. Pagkatapos ng ipinakita mo ngayong araw na to, what do you think about your performance? And do you think na sakto na siya para kay King Kong for your next fight?
Feeling ko po sobrang kulang pa pero bibigay ko best ko lagi.
Ayun. Nice. And ito naman para kay Sanji. Sanji, your most used was Zask. Okay, kay Zask. How do you feel about this hero? At paano ba ni Zaz na-change yung playstyle mo? Oh, Coach! Coach Benny Cutie! Ano? May binubulong. Ano yan? Sabi kasi ni Sanji, anong sasabihin ko? Okay.
Ano po ulit yung tanong?
Okay, most used hero mo kasi is Zaz. So, ano mong pakiramdam mo to sa hero na to? Paano niya naiiba yung laro mo?
Gusto ko lang siya gamitin kasi nakakapag-farm yung mga kampi ko.
Ayun, okay. It's just as simple as that. Ano naman kay? Sanford. Grok sa XP. Viable ba talaga to? Or ikaw lang ba ang kayang gumawa nito?
Hindi po. Kahit kinder, kaya po gamitin.
Ah, okay. Sa lahat ng mga nag-rank dyan, ano bang payo mo para sa Grok XP?
Dapat po matuto muna sila mag-block ng waves kasi sobrang halaga po sa early game.
Okay. Now, it's time to announce ang ating MVP. Can you guys guess who it is? Alam na nila.
Birthday boy
Let's take
Ben.
a look at the screen. Benny Cutie! Ano sabi mo? Ano sabi mo kay Benny?
Ano po, siya po talaga yung may birthday kasi siya po yung nasa gitna ng picture.
So yung, okay. Benny! Oh, ang ingay nila kanina, nag-cheer for you. Anong gusto mong sabihin? Maybe gusto mong mag-shoutout kay 11 also, kay Cheska, and all the fans.
Shoutout sa mga pumunta. Maraming salamat sa time nyo and effort nyo. And shoutout sa family ko kay Seska, pati kay Wanwan. Nanonood sila ngayon.
Happy birthday daw! Happy birthday, Benny! And now, it's time to announce ang winner natin, ang lucky fan na magkakaroon ng 3,000 diamonds! Come on up!
Uy, si Kuya.
So, we pick a random lucky fan dito sa MPL for every game. Uy, magkakilala kayo?
Hindi po.
Ah, okay.
Hindi, magkaibigan po kami.
Magkaibigan kayo. Bakit tinanggi mo na magkakilala kayo? Tapos si Sanford naman sabi magkaibigan kayo.
Wala po. Hindi po kami magkaibigan. Hindi po kami magkaibigan. Kilala ko lang po siya sa ML.
Okay.
Nanonood po lagi ng MPL.
Every day?
Apo.
Okay, anong gusto mo sabihin? Sige nga, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Tingnan mo sila dito. Okay, kailangan pumili ka ng isang paborito mo at kailangan sabihin mo kung bakit yan yung pinakamaangas para sa'yo.
Si Carl DC po.
O, si Carl TZ. Tabi ka kay Carl TZ. Bakit siya ang pinakamaangas para sa'yo?
Kasi po, sobrang galing niya mag-farm.
Sobrang galing mag-farm. Anong wish mo sa kanya? Kasi birthday niya kahapon eh.
Happy birthday sa'yo. Ingat ka pala.
Tingin ka sa kanya, tingin ka. Uy, idol mo to! Ito yung time mo. Sabihin mo yung wish mo sa kanya, wish.
Sana, galingan mo pa sa susunod mong nalaban.
Ayan, congratulations! Once again, you won 3,000 diamonds! All right, thank you so much. You may now exit the stage. Congratulations once again to TLPH. You may now take your bow and take your walk of victory. TLPH still with a perfect record. That's gonna be a headache for every team that goes up against them. So we're gonna break it down for you and we're gonna go to our panel. Pasok.
The defending champions of MPL Philippines proving why they are still the strongest team. Or if not, one of the strongest teams na kailangan pa rin gawing standard ng napakaraming teams for this season. And the MVP of that match, you've seen him. He's the fake birthday boy. I should say. Kasi yun nga yung sinabi ni Sanford, siya daw ang nakapresent sa big screen.
Yes.
But his performance is indeed for the big screen. Very cutie.
Oh, you know I have a very strong opinion about players or anyone who decides to first build Sky Piercer. But Benny Cutie showed why he first built that Sky Piercer, 15, 0, and 3, and it just never stopped. And because of him, the Roger that TLPH had, he was always the guy that TNC just really had no direct answer to other than the Ruby, I guess. because TNC Pro Team's lineup don't have a hero like a Roger who could just stand there, chase people down, and basic attack them cleanly.
Yung deal damage na continuous, that was Benny Cutie's role in this game. And kahit ina-expect na natin no, na yung Fanny usually yung magki-clean up because of the Lycan pounds na meron yung isang Roger, plus the fact na for sure naka-full stacks yung Sky Piercer na meron siya. It has been easier for Benny Cutie na mag-dish out ng damage continuously and yung mag-clean up for the rest of TNC Pro Team.
Yeah, and one thing I love about the TLPH draft is that if you look at all the other heroes besides the Edith, they are all heroes who can do things on their own.
Yes.
They can do something on their own, commit a play on their own, even up against two, and you should be okay. You can get something out of it or even buy time. Because of that, TNC Pro Team, their approach to this was very, what we call front to back. Kung meron ka makita ng isa, then laban. Then tuloy. While TLPH, it's okay, tumingin ka dito, pero ingat, yung gilid mo, merong naghahabol sa'yo. There's so many angles TLPH approached from.
Yeah, and speaking of angles, another na nakita natin that was very stellar from the side of the cavalry is their use of Grok. Something that we don't usually see in the EXP lane. Mind asking, kung ano bang nagpaganda sa Grok dito sa lineup to for them?
Maganda yung naging thought ng paggamit ni Sanford ng Grok, kaya nga nabanggit niya na kahit kindergarten, kayang gamitin yung hero na to.
Parang di naman.
Pero hindi nga parang hirap nga Kasi yung isa sa mga naging primary roles ng Grok, whenever the Lord appears, ibablock niya yung minion wave na paglalabasan ng Lord. Ibig sabihin na de-delay yun and may tendency na kumapal yung minion wave. So kapag nag-Lord Siege na sila, mas makapal yung wave na sasagasa doon sa pupuntahan ng Lord na yon. And kapag nangyari yon, it's easier for them to take control of the map and at the same time, makakuha ng mga necessary pushes na kailangan nilang gawin.
Please, y'all, it's 2024. Quick reminder, if you ever see a Grok in the EXP lane building damage items, that's normal.
Yes.
Remember the thing about Grok, for every point of physical attack he has, he gets defense. So it's fine. So for the people in RJ who hate on that Grok EXP lane with damage items, I don't understand. It makes sense. Sanford did it well.
In Filipino, bahala kayo sa buhay.
Oh,
Kaya ko lang
exactly.
gamitin.
But yes, ito ang game na nagpatunay that Grok EXP lane does work, and in just a bit, di ba, maipapaliwanag pa sa atin yan lalo ng isa sa mga head coaches ng Team Liquid Philippines, and we will be seeing that in just a bit. And in terms of the lineup, in terms of execution, I know that we've said our piece, but at the same time, just take a look at the kill score, right? It's so rare for us to see yung ganyang kataas na kill score. What do you think led to that? Is it more on the team fight-centric, lahat ng mga laban na nakita natin, or just on the pick-off side?
Yeah, and again, bouncing off of what Renmar mentioned kanina, no, yung mere fact na Benny was confident enough to pick up Sky Piercer as his first item was testament na kaya niyang panghawakan and i-ensure na makakapitalize niya yung items na yon. And kung babalikan natin, no, Sky Piercer, tumataas yung kill mechanic niya every single time na nagkakasta ka. So plus 10 lagi. And Lycan Pounds, yung mere fact na may Lycan Pounds na nare-reset after every kill, yun yung ginamit ni Benny Cutie as we head on to this match. And gusto ko lang din balikan yung sinabi kanina ni Sanji in the interview na isa sa mga reasons kung bakit gusto niyang gamitin yung Zaz ay stand-alone hero yung Zaz.
Yeah.
Yung ultimate ng isang Zaz, nagkakaroon agad siya ng ability to protect himself from ganks coming from the assassin jungler nung kanilang kalaban.
And that's what we were talking about. The lineup of TLPH, four heroes have someone who can just really do their own thing. While for TNC Pro Team, they have to layer things well. And that's one of the things that we missed out on. The layering.
Yes.
Heads and Escalera. From time to time, even like the play of Hatred. There needs to be a little bit of a better meshing there. They could time things a little bit better because add the Ruby into the mix there, add the knockup that you can get from a Ling. The crowd control from TNC should have been enough to really give TLPH a lot of difficulty, that even though they couldn't directly catch Benny Cutie would have thought twice about going in.
Kasi kulang.
Kasi kulang yung damage. But then TLPH really just, I feel like they did the right call for it. They were aggressive, but at the same time, they respected what TNC could have done to them. That's why TLPH took the win.
Yeah, see, this is the reason why we would always say that 30% is on the draft, but 70% is on the execution.
True.
It really matters the most pagdating sa mga ganitong klase ng laban, and you would really expect for them to be able to pull off those plays, knowing that they have a decent amount of crowd control and resources para makita natin yung matchup that would favor the Phoenix Army. But so far, we are here right now. Kasama ang nagbabalik na now coach na si Coach Saire.
Welcome.
Coach,
Welcome back.
from Team Liquid Philippines, and of course, Mara Aquino. It's a
Hello.
pleasure to have you here at the panel again.
Sobrang comfy dito.
Oh, my.
Masarap
I'm telling
magbalik.
you.
Masarap ba magbalik kasi sa lahat ng hindi nakakaalam. Okay, konting kwento kasi you were a player before sa MPL.
Yes, season 4 and season 5 from Execration. Kasama ko dun sila Chaknu, Etomax,
Ayun.
and si Hate, si Benicute din.
Ah,
Kaya,
So kanina, okay, napansin namin, ini-expect kasi natin kanina na si Coach Tic-Tac yung mag-fist bump. Tapos biglang new face.
Out of nowhere.
Okay, bakit ikaw yung nag-fist bump kanina?
expect ko si Etomax yung
Ayun. Kaya ikaw ba yung nagsabi na, pwede bang ako na lang mag-fist bump? Ikaw yung nag-request.
si Madam Mitch.
Okay, pero eto, hindi ka nakapag-fist bump with Etomax, kay Wolf. Pero si Etomax, nakikinig ngayon. Ano bang gusto mong ipalabas kay Etomax na siya yung gusto mong i-fist bump? Anong gusto mo bang sabihin?
Wala naman. Siyempre, dati as a player kami dalawa. Ngayon naman, coach, parang masaya rin na nandito kami sa stage na nag-guide ng mga bagong player.
During that fist bump kung may moment ka na magbigay ng isang sentence, isang phrase kay Etomax, ano ba dapat yung sasabihin mo doon?
Good luck.
good luck.
Malinis. We good. I'd like to
We
build
good.
up on that as well. Kasi kayo parehas ni Etomax, dati kayong players na naging coach. And how was that process like para sa'yo?
Sobrang-
mahirap ba? How was it going? Moving forward?
Hindi naman. Kasi pares din kasi kaming captain. Kaya kami yung nagda-drop, rotation, macro, lahat ng mga strategies.
Oh. Sino mas magaling?
Ayan na.
Hindi ko. Yung nanalo siguro.
Kasi nanalo.
Say that you're better without saying you're better.
Ito may tanong ako. Parang medyo lang tayo, side kwento. Kasi nung MDL Philippines Season 2, nakwento sa amin na apparently board top-notcher ka raw.
Fourth place.
Oh!
2014 Electrical Engineering.
Oh, wow. So bakit pinili mo instead of having a profession in electrical engineering, nandito ka sa amin sa MPL?
Passion ko talaga yung maglaro eh. Simula bata pa lang ako eh. Kaya yung nagka-chance ako naka-stable naman na, pinursue ko naman yung career sa esports.
And we're so happy that you're back.
True.
Masaya kami na after you've pursued what you want, nakuha mo yung EE, now you're practically
Welcome
doing
back.
very well
Yeah.
dito sa Team Liquid.
With a great team. Okay, which team ang susunod? Ngayon nasa MPL ka na, Season 14, ang daming magagaling na koponan. Which team ang someone that you're looking forward to na durugin?
Siguro yung Bren.
Bren! Oh, meron ka bang gustong sabihin kay Bren? Bren!
Wala na.
Okay.
Wala. Sa
Brad-
pagtutuos na nila.
Walang humble.
Bren, dahil yung rivalry. Oo nga laging Bren.
Second place.
Laging Bren and TLPH.
Grand Finals. Sa Grand Finals, laging Bren TLPH.
Inikot nyo na yung buong mundo, ginawa niyong Grand Finals.
Oo nga. I mean, at this point, di ba, hindi na tayo magugulat because of how well... I'm assuming na na-brief na rin si Coach Saira with the history na meron yung Falcons AP Bren and Team Liquid Philippines, pero kayo rin. We're also gonna be briefing you guys kasi kung meron na kayong regalo na gusto nyong ibigay sa mga favorite teams nyo, just like Team Liquid Philippines here and all the rest of the MPL teams, tara na dito sa MPL Arena at ilagay sa Community Hub Dropbox ang inyong mga regalo. Pwede pa namin kayong imbitahan dito sa Infinix Game Tambayan, just like Coach Saire, para maabot personally ang inyong mga regalo. And aside from that, okay, Mara, can you do a Franco hook? How do you do a skill 1 of a Franco? Yeah, how do you do it?
I love the smell of good powder in the morning.
Matik! Franco mains, obviously, it is your time to shine dahil available na ang bagong MPL exclusive skin na Quantum Vanguard ni Franco sa shop. So hook enemies ala MPL players ala Mara Aquino and get it right now. And syempre, shout out din to our official streamers from hulaan nyo kung saan.
Saan?
Sa Southeast Asia. Meron pa.
Saan pa?
Sa MENA. Meron pa.
Saan?
Sa Southeast Asia.
Ang dami.
Yun lang ba? Yun lang ba?
Oh, saan pa?
Hindi pa. At sa North America din. Kasi kung gusto nyo maging part of the weekly MPLPH action, scan the QR code below. Ayun, ayun. Yan. Yung tinuturo ni Auntie. Yung tinuturo naming lahat. Diyan yung iscan nyo and be an official streamer. Alright? Kasi syempre, we'd love for you guys, we'd love to have insights and gusto namin na makita yung mga reactions nyo sa lahat ng mga intense na mga laban na makikita natin
Malay
moving
mo,
forward.
ma-discover tayo doon.
Diba?
Meron akong gusto isingit na joke na mabilis lang.
ano?
Ano yun?
Coach, dahil ikaw nag-electrical engineering ka, di ba? At nasa Liquid ka na. Ikaw ang bagong iidolo ng Team Liquid.
Ayos ah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
We
you.
leave it at that.
Thank you.
Magbabalik
Dito ba ako sila?
ang MPL Philippines Season 14. Kita sa next match.
Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas Kahit anong lane, we become the monsters Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas Face the golden sun and ribbon for the 3 stars Look at us to the top, no ifs, no buts Winning any game, para to sa PINAS Di mo matitin ang aming boses sa new level Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend Open fire, we unite, we winners Built with pressure, the diamonds are made of Switch in a lane na parang gera HP Racing, may reset up Built agad ang buhat ni Hilda Full load SS parang Lyra Susundan ko ang iyong bakas Kasama patas Tagumpay natin to Dahil tayo'y malakas Para sa Pinas Nasa amin ang alas Hindi tuwa atras Kinikilala sa taas Kasi kami ang malakas Para sa Pinas Nasa amin ang alas Hindi tuwa atras Kinikilala sa taas Ganito kami sa Pinas Wow! Hold on Yeah, wala kasang Pinas Laging MVP, no surrender nor retreat Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve Laging MVP, no surrender nor retreat Giving 100 all my all cause we just cannot be defeated We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, malang crowd control Pakita ko na jab like, pow, beast of the southeast Takas sa watawat, proud and loud cause every enemy we devour Susundan ko ang iyong bakas Kasama patas Tagumpay natin to Dahil tayo'y malakas Para sa Pinas Nasa amin ang alas Hindi tuwa atras Kinikilala sa taas Kasi kami ang malakas Para sa Pinas Nasa amin ang alas Hindi tuwa atras Kinikilala sa taas Ganito kami sa Pinas Wow! Pilipinas malakas. Kahit anong lane, we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas malakas. Face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, be the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, be the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, be the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we the stars.
Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we unite, we the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, we the stars.
The 14th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 14. The official tournament phone of MPL Philippines, Infinix GT20 Pro. Official suppliers, EMC Asia and Index Salon. Experience the TLPH Season 14 action live at Green Sun, Makati City. Grab your tickets now via official MPLPH website. Don't miss any MPL action by following our official Facebook and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Follow MPLPH on TikTok for more content. And to ensure the equality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusements Board.
Lakas ng Pinas!
Nagbabalik ang MPL Philippines Season 14 para sa unang araw ng week number 2. My name is Hans Galeria and together with me is Renmar Santa Cruz and Ate Anara. At kasama niyo pa rin kami dito lamang sa Infinix Game Tambayan kung saan masasaksihan natin in just a few minutes ang pangalawang matchup, the final match of the day between Blacklist International and Smart Omega. Another interesting, series that we're gonna have to prepare ourselves kasi magiging intense na naman to for sure.
Yeah, the rivalry of Blacklist International and Smart Omega is historic,
Way
to say
back.
the least. Way back, even though a lot of the main characters of this rivalry have changed for this season. There are some interesting stories and connections between the players that we have now. This generation of the Omega Blacklist rivalry that'll make things still spicy.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd have to focus on the history. Auntie, I'm gonna give you a crash course, okay, on what happened. Kasi last season, Omega's chances, it's all started with last season. Okay?
Ano nangyari?
Omega's chances of qualifying for the playoffs started and ended with Blacklist International. Nagsimula to when Shaknu transferred from the MDL to MPL para i-sweep ang Blacklist International in the 6th week of the
Naalala
regular
ko nga
season.
yan.
Diba? Pero, nagtapos din yon nung na-secure ng Black yung series nila against Echo, na ang tawag sa kanila dati, Echo pa. Kasi all they needed was just one win. Diba? Kung na-sweep man ang Blacklist International noon, it would have been Omega. So it would be one or the other. Ever since then, Omega has maintained its roster and it's doing wonders dahil sa kanilang opening week nakakuha sila ng 2 match wins and they way have won in terms of their last meeting, pero ito yata yung momentum na pinanghahawakan nila ngayon in terms of what they have as a team.
Oo. Kaya nga, kailangan nating makita na magpatuloy yung pagragasa ng bagong barangay. Especially now, because of the narrative that happened last season. Hindi lang yun yung first time na dininay ng Blacklist International yung Omega. Kasi nung M3 nung Season 8 sa MPL, sila din yung kumbaga nagtanggal doon sa opportunity ng Smart Omega na makakuha.
That's the lower bracket.
Yeah, and I also remember Blacklist, sila yung nag-eliminate sa Omega nung play-ins para sa playoffs noon back in Season 11. So,
ang tagal.
Ang tagal. So, no joke talaga when we say that this rivalry is historic.
Yep.
So many things has happened between these two.
I mean, at some point, di ba, nag-umpisa to sa kay Oheb, kay Kelra. Doon nag-umpisa lahat ng mga ganap. And then all of a sudden, there's been some rivalries. We've seen Chaknu not part of Omega during the first matchup nila kontra sa Blacklist. And then all of a sudden, he's back. Tapos ngayon, panibago na naman ulit, a new code for Blacklist International ang ating makikita. Pero yun din yata yung kailangan nilang gawin. We are still looking for Blacklist International sa kung ano ba yung gagawin nila. What exactly would you do if you're Blacklist International?
WWYD.
WWYD. What would you do? Or pwedeng WWBD, di ba? What would Blacklist do? Because as of this moment, we haven't really seen a lot of those victories na kinakailangan nila and they need to at least propel themselves. Kailangan paganahin na kagad nila na yung engine nila para magtuloy-tuloy for the next.
And I think for the Blacklist agents there, I've seen a lot of the pulses of the community, what they've been mentioning online, and I have to agree with them. For me, Blacklist International, because of the roster that they put together, a bigger coaching staff with a lot of new faces for the organization. They have a full 10-man roster, if I'm not mistaken, 9-man. So really, it's expected that Blacklist International will take time to figure things out. Kailangan talaga nila ng oras kasi ang dami nilang mga iba't ibang pyesa na kailangan mo talaga hanapin yung tamang timpla. And spoiler alert, nakita naman natin dun sa waiting screen natin. Meron tayong mga iba, but we will go on to that later on. Blacklist will really take time.
Kung kakaantabay lang nila, kung kakasubaybay lang nila, back lang kayo ng konti. Back lang kayo ng konti, masusubaybayan yan. But as we spoke, or as we mentioned kanina, you're right. At least nakakuha sila ng panalo from last week. They got one game, and that's probably something that they could build on na nakuha nila dito sa Fnatic Onyx Philippines. Pero parang may something eh. Parang may pwedeng lumabas dito sa lineup na hinihintay ng sobrang daming tao. One of those are the options of Tilar and Oheb possibly playing.
Na lagi nating nakikita, where are they? Because nabanggit na nga natin 10-man lineup yung koponan ng Blacklist International. So while that gives them opportunity to mix and match their players, at the same time, mahirap din kasing buuin, again, yung chemistry from those 10 players. Who do we field in today? Sinong lalaban ngayon?
Yeah, and I think it's important that Blacklist International, now for week 2, they're juggling around different roles. Again, not confirming anything. But come on, nakita nyo naman yung loading screen.
Okay.
Hindi na ganun kasyado spoiler. So we're just gonna tease it a little bit. When you have so many players in that team, you have to flex it as early as week 2.
Yep.
How many times before in the history of MPLPH we've seen big teams not field new lineups until week 3 or week 4, and then suddenly middle of the season, you're wondering why, how come it took that long?
Yeah.
So it's good that as early as week 2, they're already considering rotating some pieces around. And that's important, especially when you have a historic rivalry up against Omega, because that's one of the mindset things for teams. It's that, okay, if we're going to try something new, we'll do it against our rivals. Because that gives them that extra buff. And that's not us just saying things. Players have been vocal about that before in the past. How would you feel if you went up against DLSU? You'd be inspired, right? As someone from Ateneo.
True. And alam mo yung ganong kind ng
He's from Lasal.
rotation. Exactly.
Yeah,
Kaya nga wala ko comment eh. Tapos ikaw USD. So iba-iba tayo.
That's exactly why I'm here.
Okay, we wear different colors. But hey, you're wearing my school's color.
Oo nga eh.
Continue.
Sorry, eto na nga. Yung ganong klase, especially now, more than ever, urgent na week 2 pa lang makapag-recalibrate na yung team. Why? Kasi nagbago yung point system natin. Hindi na tayo kagaya before.
Good point.
Na as long as makakuha ka ng game, you get a point. Now, as long as you get a series win, that's the only time that you get a point. So medyo mas mahirap makarank up ng points now.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest X factors here is that if ever we will see Exort playing for the side of Blacklist International.
If
ever.
He's going up against his former team. That is an Omega roster that he's very familiar with. He wasn't there when this roster finally took into shape. Actually, he was one of the players that was sent to MPL. So that they could bring up Andoryu around week 5 heading into week 6. So the experience of Exort coming from Omega should play a factor here for Blacklist International.
Yeah, and not only for Exhort, right? Because all or most of the players, I believe except for Mark TZ, has had experience playing in the MPL that we've seen for the longest time na itong mga pangalan na ito, kung baga, napupunta sa iba't ibang teams, they've showcased what they can do, and posible na makita mo sila dyan, di ba? Yung mga manlalaro, minsan lumalabas yung ulo nila dyan sa side na yan.
Nakita nyo sila dito
So just in case na hindi nyo nakita yung waiting screen, it is a a possibility na yung mga nabanggit nilang players are the ones that are gonna be playing today? But on the other side, Smart Omega not really having a lot of changes since last season. What do you think is the reason why they are performing like this? Ano ba yung sikreto? Or hindi man sikreto, what are your observations regarding this team and how they're getting the win?
Pinag-usapan natin to last week when Mara was here. And I think one of the key factors talaga ay yung fact na Andoryu regained his confidence na we weren't able to see last week. And then the fact na even Chaknu, now wearing the hat of being a captain, mas bukod sa fact na mas magaling sumagot si Chakno ngayon sa interview, mas grabe yung pagka-well-rounded ng paglalaro ni Chakno na not only does it help the team, it also adds more chaos to the already chaotic play style of Barangay.
Yeah, and to pair up with how well Chakno has been doing, I want to acknowledge this headline. It's Atoy Army against the Dil Army.
You have to give it. You have to give it.
If ever, not confirming anything. until
Wala
the
pa, wala
lineup.
pa.
But I'm a Ryota fan for this season. The two games that we saw him play in, it just seems that he really understands his role for Omega in the team fights. Whether he's going to be peeling for the backline, whether he's going to be the one initiating,
Soaking
followed up by
damage.
Chakno. Ryota's just been so good. The EXP lane for Smart Omega.
You know, it's funny kasi they both came from Onyx Philippines. And then Fnatic Onyx Philippines. And then all of a sudden, they're here. So, kumbaga parang ito, makikita natin yung scrim nila. Or hindi ba sila naglalaban pag scrim? Well, we're about to find out because it's gonna be Blacklist International versus Smart Omega in this final series.
MPL Arena for the last series of the day. Please welcome our marshals on the stage right now. It's Ems, Wilbert, Pat, and JJ. And now, sumusugod sila papunta sa mga panalo na nakuha nila. Let's just go ahead and welcome in the back of their savage momentum, it's Smart Omega! And across them are their rivals, walking down the stage, returning faces, looking to add another chapter to this storied rivalry. Welcome back to the Philippines, Delar. It's Blacklist International! And the master tacticians for both sides for Smart Omega, it's Coach Lembot. And for Blacklist International, it's Coach Bonchan.
It's time for the face-off. Dilar, Ryota, step forward. Once teammates, once a sub, now part of the main five. The tides have changed for these two players. Ryota, ano ang palag mo kay Dilar?
Eto.
Dilar, ano ang palag mo kay Ryota?
Basta tandaan mo lang, bago nagka-Atoy Army, may general muna.
Palag kong palag! Fist bump! A story of domination and redemption. Who will reveal the hero within? It's time to find out. Casters, pasok!
At doon natin nakita ang muling pagbabalik ni Dilar. Excited na nga siyang pumunta doon sa table Excited na siyang maglaro. Bakit nyo pa ba ako papupuntahin sa gitna ng stage? But yes, before that, it's Smart Omega that hasn't really changed their lineup and is now building on their momentum.
In English, Dilar said before there was the Atoy army, there was the general first. This is the first general, the general of MPL Philippines going up against the new general, his former teammate in Ryota. But besides the EXP lane, Big J has been tearing it up this season. 2 MVP performances, and Ukir has been a sleeper hit for Smart Omega.
But for Blacklist International, they're going to be fielding in 2 new players para sa Week 2. It's Dilar and Exort na highlight.
Oo, tapos may pagbabago pa because Haji is now back in the roaming position. Will this shake things up for Blacklist International? Kasi nakita na natin yung KDA machine wearing different hats. How will he be able to adjust as early as Week 2? Yan ang tanong ng bayan.
It's crazy kasi we've seen Haji play 3 different roles all throughout.
Hey!
But speaking of which, gaya ng binanggit niya kanina, the General returns. At ang pinakahuling beses na nakita natin itong si Dilar in a Moon Transaction Tournament was in MSC 2023. Nung EVOS Legends ay humarap sa Onyx in the quarterfinals. Sinab nga siya nung Game 2, di ba?
Yes.
Na parang medyo alanganin na yung kanilang sitwasyon. But
Yeah.
even so, he's managed to secure a win and give some hope for the EVOS fans.
Yeah, he got to play 2 games, and if you weren't there or you weren't following MSC 2023, he played the Joy and the Uranus. When after that series, after that first game where he played the Joy, everyone in the world said, EVOS, why did you sub Dilar? Why did it take you so long to play him?
Now, for Blacklist, they're not taking their time. Ilalagay na kagad nila itong si Dilar because they want to show the Atoy army that the General still has it. Ganun din naman yung gustong gawin ni Ryota because you also have to show the previous General that Atoy army is now in charge. At para sa parehas na kupunan, you have to challenge each other's team chemistry. Yung sa Omega, siguro nasagot natin during the first week, but for Blacklist International, we are yet to figure that out with this new lineup.
Oo, parang ang tanong ulit ngayon ay papaano makatutulong both Exort, Dilar, and Haji now that they are in their roles. They all have a role to play in this game. And kung paano masishake nun yung mga kaganapan as we head on to game number 1. Again, this is a battle between the new generation and the old generation. Who will prevail?
I just have to say, though, we have to acknowledge it that, for me, Ryota's coming in here the favorite. It's Dilar that's the big underdog because even though he hasn't really achieved like crazy heights, hasn't won championships, Ryota has been consistent, slowly bubbling his reputation in MPL Philippines, and even fans from other regions see Ryota as someone to really look out for. So for Dilar, it could be a rough welcome back to MPL Philippines going up against a long-time former teammate.
Kasi ang kaganapan, no, Ryota has been consistently playing, pero nakita natin si Dilar take a pause in playing MLBB professional tournament for a long time. So again, ang nagiging katanungan ay kung magiging ready ba, not just Blacklist International, but the entire squad of Smart Omega sa pagbabalik ng General.
You know, you're right about that. Kasi for a while, right, we've seen Dilar nanonood nung season 13 playoffs. And alam nyo, hindi na ako naniniwala pag sinasabi ng mga players na nanonood lang sila. Kasi, tingnan mo, ganito rin yung ginawa ni Rene J at ngayon, or before siyang mapunta ng Blacklist, and then now he's part of Aurora, and then Dilar's doing the same thing, but for now, we're gonna be looking forward into the draft to check out kung ano ba yung posibleng i-pick up ng dalawang teams na ito. It's side of Blacklist International on the blue. Meanwhile, red naman ang kukunin ng barangay. And pretty scattered yung bans natin ngayon.
Yeah, Jushin first phase ban signals that Blacklist International baka iniisip nila yung Zask as the first pick. So tingnan natin if Omega will go towards the bans of the Moskov, the Roger, the Zask, one of those.
And now, nakikita natin na ang dami ding pocket picks bukod doon sa mga nabanggit natin ng koponan ng Smart Omega. So definitely, as we head on to the second phase of the draft, the likes of the Hanzo, even yung
Hylos.
Hylos.
Oo. Pero meron pocket picks din yung Blacklist International. They made the Bane Mathilda work.
Yes.
So that's something that Omega still also has to respect. So the Zaz gets taken out. So are you gonna get the Moskov? Are you gonna get the Roger? The usual first two picks that we see.
I mean, at this point, gusto mo na medyo flexible
Roger.
yung options mo, and that's exactly what Blacklist International is gonna do. Roger that can go into the jungle or gold position. Smart Omega could possibly have an answer.
I'm feeling Edith Ruby, something along those lines.
Yeah, definitely maganda yung dalawang heroes na yun. Or they could also veer towards picking a Terizla for Atoy R.
Yeah.
Priestess of primal
Edith.
lightning.
Okay.
The hunter of all the evil gods.
Yeah, I mean, at this point kasi parang iisipin mo rin na you have to keep your opponent guessing. Edith, still quite a flexible hero here. Could go into different positions. Same as the Roger. So both of these heroes or both of these coaches, parang iniisip lang nila kung ano muna yung posible nilang i-pick up. But that is a quick one. An Aurora for the side of Smart Omega.
Yeah, and gusto ko lang din banggitin, no, kagaya ng nabanggit natin nung unang serye ng araw na ito, isa si Aurora sa mga heroes na anti-assassin because of the Frigid Glacier. So definitely, that closes off the books for the side of Blacklist International to instantly pick an assassin without knowing what's next for them.
Yeah, they can play it safe, go for EXP. And, they take the high loss away from Omega and they pick up a Valentina. I'm not going to completely turn off the idea of a high loss EXP instead of a high loss roam. This might actually be going to the hands of Dilar.
I mean, usually nakikita natin dito kay Ryota is he's the one who's usually the sponge, diba? He doesn't make the flashiest of plays, pero he's the kind of player that kind of like takes all of the damage para Chakno is gonna be enabled to use those setups para magkaroon siya ng espasyo to use those setups to give a better time for his teammates. But now, a final pick of the first phase para sa Barangay is gonna be that Claude, something that we've usually seen before from Big J.
Yeah, I like this pickup by Omega because the first three picks of Blacklist International is giving team fight.
Yep.
You see those picks and you imagine a lineup that wants to roam together, fight together. So Omega will pick up a Claude so that they can open up the map and be able to split push.
Oo, tapos yung fact na yun, no, na the moment na magkaroon na ng enough resources yung Claude from split pushing, from being able to open up the map, that's a go signal for him na in a way, nai-equalize pa din yung fact na pwede silang makipaglaban at the right moment.
Yeah, the thing that hurts about this Claude pick though is that Blacklist International, you know that there's a high chance they won't have a static backliner. Because all of the lineups of all of the heroes so far of Blacklist International want to dive. Meaning that when the Claude goes into Blazing Duet, it puts itself in a very dangerous situation.
Yes, kasi the moment na ma-crowd control siya, just even the Hylos, pag tinuhog siya nung spear ng Hylos, unless mag-purify siya, which I think is the go signal here din naman for this Claude, medyo mahirapan talaga in terms of pwestuhan sa pagpasok ng mga teamfight.
So both of these teams clearly have their conditions na i-met nila, especially with the high loss being picked up for the side of Blacklist International. I believe 100% pick rate siya kada araw na lumilipas, right? For the past 4 days that we've seen dito sa MPL Philippines Season 14, it's always been that high loss that is present. A Nolan, Jawhead ang tatanggalin ngayon ng Blacklist International. Meanwhile, it's Ruby and Kaja na tatanggalin naman ng Smart Omega.
Haya and Julian are still open, so that's definitely a possibility for both of our teams. But then again, we've mentioned how yung pagkakapick ng side ng Smart Omega ng Aurora already opens up the possibility na meron silang in a way pang counter out against those kinds of heroes.
What I'm thinking what might be okay for Blacklist International, MP the King, if ever the Roger's gonna go into the gold lane, they can pick Alpha.
Alpha, yes!
Yeah. Alpha jungle, then put the Roger into the gold lane will be good.
Right? Alpha could be looking good para sa kupunan ng Blacklist International. But this is interesting.
Yeah, kasi binanggit ni Renmar kanina kung papaanong currently yung lineup ng Blacklist International all-dive and how better to counter an all-dive lineup than to have ng mga pating na paparating sa'yo the moment na mag-dive ka.
So now it's a question for Blacklist. Do you put the Roger gold? Do you put it in the jungle? I feel like still pick up the Alpha or maybe even, I don't know, consider the Martis because you have the high loss to pair up with it. I'm just thinking that you need someone in a key position that can avoid getting crowd controlled by the ultimate of the Bane.
I I guess they're probably thinking na posibleng kunin din kasi sana nila yung Bane, but the only problem is
yeah.
they're gonna fixate on an assassin, one of the strongest assassins that we have in the current game, at sasamahan din nila yan ng Grok. So posible nga na flexible pa itong Grok tsaka yung Hylos in the XP and row position.
And sinasagot din ito yung question mo, Renmar, doon sa may ability to evade the crowd control coming from the Bane. So in a way, a good pick, but then again, kagaya na binanggit mo, Hans, pwede nating makitang mag-veer towards the XP lane again, ang isang Grok, just like what Sanford did in their game number 2.
Yung nakikita ko to so far, this could potentially be a very magulo game.
Yes.
Parang ang daming aksyon, daming individual fights na nangyari. Last pick, Roam or EXP? Uy, nag-glue. Huh.
I wonder how you guys feel about this. Kasi,
Lason to
Yeah, this is Ryota holding on to a glue and Chaknu ang gagamit ng Edith compared to the usual set of heroes that, we kind of see from him.
I'm thinking about if ang naging train of thought dito ng Smart Omega ay walang kayang mag-burst down agad sa glue at the start. Kasi nga naman medyo tanky talaga yung mechanics ng glue. And kaya niyang sakyan yung mga humaharap.
Yeah, sobrang lason ng glue pick na yan na baka, yun nga, as you mentioned, the early game, it might be difficult for Blacklist, for Omega to have an answer towards, for Blacklist International, excuse me, to have an answer towards the glue. Parang iniisip ko, parang, at some point, the casters in Filipino will say, ang kunat! In English, they can't take him down.
I mean, Lembot and Bonchan have finally made their move. It is now time para sa mga manlalaro. Casters, paso.
Little did we know that the code could be rewritten before our
to
very
Mobile
eyes.
Legends.
Welcome to the second matchup of the day. It's Blacklist International facing off against Smart Omega. Leo here at your service, alongside Jose Ingan. Man, I didn't think you could see Haji still switch up mid-season.
Haji, he's shown that he could do it. Mid-season, after every season, it's always something new for Haji. But still, he was able to evade that death with a flicker. That's a costly flicker, though, for Haji.
Old school pickups here. And check it out as well. You have the story of Ryota versus Dilar. The return of the general! Oh, talking about it. Ryota's drawn first blood.
There is a new general, new captain. So far, Ryota really performing well with the glue. We didn't expect glue to be picked right now, but knowing Omega, they've been showing us different kinds of heroes. I mean, who could have thought Andoryu picking up a Hanzo in week number 1?
There's a lot of new stuff Smart Omega's bringing to the table, and that's the reason why they're one of the hottest teams going into Season 14. Tied off with Aurora, in my opinion, after week 1. Now going into week 2, off to a strong start once more. Despite the drawn first blood onto the KDA machine, look at this, Blacklist still up by about 200. I wonder what that spells for the side lanes. We got a lot of action up top again. The Ryotarmy versus the Dilarmy. The new general versus the... Yeah, that's what I call it.
Ryotarmy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Atoy Army.
Who says that?
The other broadcast.
No one says that. Literally no one says that. Looking at the mid lane matchup, you have Exort versus Ukir, who, by the way, we didn't make much noise about Exort coming back.
I love this matchup. Again, if you can recall correctly, last season, Ukir transferred from MDL to MPL, and same as well for Exort from MPL to MPL. This time they're facing off, not as teammates, but as opponents.
Right! They used to replace each other.
Yes.
You know, the shuffle through the barangay, which led to this iteration of Smart Omega. So there's a lot of webs weaved throughout this matchup. That's why the rivalry is very much well-deserved. The lore behind them. Look at this turtle now, down to a third of its health. It's just Dilar Exort up. And there's a saying. When a Bane has its eyes on an objective, there's very little you can do.
The deadly catch, yeah. Especially with the deadly catch. You really don't want to contest Bane, because if you overcommit, Omega can really turn things around into their favor. They have the Edith, they have the Bane as well. And going head-to-head, Hayabusa versus Bane, you'd really favor the Bane. And MP the King knows this, because their only single game 1 was he was using the Bane.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with that said, there's really very little answer you have towards the Bane. When you have the glorious pathway set down through Dilar, they can answer back with you know, with that very old, the deadly catch. So now, clearly, the map belongs to Blacklist, but when you get into a fight, which I think Omega will try to delay for as long as much as possible because they need to get their XP and their items on, that's when it'll break out. Oh, here we go!
Shocknu onward connecting onto Haji as well as the Frigid Glacier. That's going to be a first blood kill on. No, that's not the first blood, but Haji again is the casualty for Blacklist. And prior to that clash, we've seen Andoryu as well as Outplayed pick up the Sky Piercer. So we can expect both of these players, respectively, for their teams to really get kills as much as possible. But the problem is, Omega is on the driver's seat right now. They're really controlling the pace early game.
Yeah, that's a bold move to actually pick up the Sky Piercer onto the Bane. I personally wouldn't do that.
Same.
But if...
I'm not that confident.
If Smart Omega says, you know, we're going to go fast, and we're going to pick off fights as fast as possible. And look, prior to this matchup, right, if the roamer allows for them to die over and over again, that's fine. They're the ones who can afford to do that.
It's their job.
But if you put it on Sky Piercer stacks, that's a whole other story.
Yes, and a whole other story
Whoa!
here because Shocknu once again connecting onto Haji. Haji needs to walk away there. And here comes MP the King. Wiki Shadow Kill onto Shocknu, but the problem is 3 members are there to share the damage. And look at that, Haji with a wild charge, but no follow-up coming in from Blacklist, but this time, they're in a better position to get the circle.
Not to mention, Joshua Mangilog still had the Primal Wrath, so extra shield, extra health on there. Turtle now at less than half health, down to a 5th!
Andoryu is very far, got blocked by Haji, and this time, Blacklist will secure Turtle without suffering any casualties. I actually like what Haji did there. What do you call it? The wall again, the wall from
The
Grok.
Guardian's Barrier.
The Guardian's Barrier was very crucial for Andoryu not to contest anymore. And at the same time, they were able to evade whatever Omega could do to go for a trade.
That's right. It's key towards the next ramp up from mid to late, and even in late game, big 5-man collisions. Only one member of SmartOmega can actually go through the wall, and that is Jolm.
Oh, look at that. This is what we were saying a while ago. The glorious pathway got cancelled by the deadly catch. And Shocknu going in with the Primal Wrath. MP is going to fall down, but a counterattack coming in from Haji all the way from the backline. No casualties from Omega, and you predicted this. Even if you have a glorious pathway from Hylos, one deadly catch from Andoryu is enough to disrupt the aggression of the agents.
And not just the deadly catch. I mean, you also have the threat of activation of the Primal Wrath. You know, you're clumped up together, you take a lot of damage. You also have the Frigid Breath. You literally lay down a lot of deterrence to this one-time, big-time ult of, oh man, look at that. As if it wasn't enough that you throw away the big ult. Oh, MP also goes down!
MP goes down, and the only person that the Wiki Shadow Kill connected to was Ukir, who still had the Pride of Ice.
Exactly.
So there was really no trade for Blacklist that time. Although it was a good effort for Haji to go for the clash, it was just that Shocknu was ready to dive in. The Onward plus Primal Wrath combination was able to take down MP, and so far, MP not having a good start. But at the same time, he didn't pick up that Sky Piercer, so that death isn't that much detrimental so far for Blacklist.
In the downtime between the first and the second match of the night, I was going through social media. I was looking at what our friends online were talking about.
Yeah.
The meta seems to favor layering of skills and just resources on resources. And the first match was one off of that. Here, I think I can say the same thing. Is because look at Shocknu, right? Shocknu, the single most effective... Woo! Oh, here we go! See what I was talking about?
Shocknu! Frigid Glacier to finish off MP the King, but the clash is not yet done. Job going in with the Blazing Duet, connecting onto Haji and Exort as well. And look at that, Riota's gonna fall down in the hands of Exort. Was that a worth it trade for Omega?
I mean, they knocked them all out of the face of the turtle, and they're still going!
Once again, catches him with the onward combination. Outplayed is gonna fall down. No MP the King in the picture. That's why Omega got the turtle. Wow!
Oh.
I remember Shocknu.
Exactly, I was just talking about Shocknu.
You were talking about Shocknu.
In a single bush check, he was able to initiate on Blacklist and force the agents, the code breakers, to respond off kilter, which then resulted to a free turtle on Omega, plus, oh my god, plus the cherry on top. Johnville, my boy, outplayed, got caught by the tail end of a deadly catch. Look at that!
Look at that. You know, every viewer here should watch what you're saying, because previously in the last series you said that the game's not no clashes were ensuing in game number 2. But the moment you said that a major clash happened, now this time you were pertaining to Chaknu, then Chaknu made an amazing play onto Effie.
What they call caster curse, but in my
The
case,
caster curse.
it's the other way around. Look at this, Haji still doing what he's trying to do from the very first minute of the game. Off camera, a push by Big J, a turret down for the Barangay. I'm wondering now, like, what's the alternate approach for Blacklist, given that Omega have blocked out their major in, right? Through the front lines, through the Glorious Pathway, through the Wild Charge, Guardians Barrier, like, what other angle could Blacklist find? Because Omega seems to have all the bases covered.
It's really a split push coming in from MP, the King, or even outplay. And at the same time, make sure that Dilar actually soaks up all the damage and utilize that Hylos with the high HP. Because so far, no one's going to burst down Dilar. I mean, you have to wait for the power spike of Joe later on. There's no natural tank killer like a carry, so Dilar, you should really utilize the Glorious Pathway.
Whoa! Chaknu walking side by side, parallel to Haji. If that went any other angle, would have been a flip over to Haji, and we could have been looking at a crumbled out Grok. Another angle to look at it then, yes, you're right, Ingan. I think one thing that Blacklist has over Omega, despite the 3K gold lead, is they're a more sustainable lineup. Like, they can take fights much longer, especially after Smart Omega lets go of all their big-ticket ults.
Plus, they have the Revitalize, so they can actually always counter-engage once again.
And they heal together.
They heal together. The Ube is still there.
Agents stronger together.
But this time, Dilar soaking up every single damage. Being brought down to him.
That's annoying. That's Beatrix level of annoying, man. You just keep throwing the deadly catch.
Chaknu wants to go right after Haji. There's no passive. He has to use the Wild Charge to walk away. And this time, Ryota being a menace onto Blacklist to set their formation. He was able to go onto Dilar, but he's going to fall down. And that was a bait because Omega's really focusing on this Lord. Chaknu making sure he zones out Dilar. Oh, what? Look at that! Exort! Welcome back as he takes down the Lord away from Omega. Now Omega's mad, the Barangay is mad, but Dilar as well took down Job. 2 members are falling down for Omega. What a turn of event for the Agents.
Dexter Martinez, the X Factor, Exhort from out of nowhere, stealing away the Lord, opening up a lot of kills for Omega to just bait them. You know what? I could have sworn Exhort was still wearing the green and black. That's what that moment felt like. And what now that did is snap the gold lead in half. And how did that, where did that come? We were seeing past the Lord steal, but yeah, no, I think in the grander scale of things, Ingan, I think the kills that resulted after the Lord steal was more important than the Lord steal itself.
Yeah.
Which was already a majestic piece of art.
It was really a big bonus for Blacklist. They were able to get a takedown 3. They're not going to be able to utilize this Lord. This is just a level 1 Lord, but this time, oh, look at that! Haji still, he just wanted to delay Omega.
He bought time.
He bought enough time because they're after that second tier turret in the bottom lane. Now Dilar, oh, he's going to get caught up there by Chaknu. But the Glorious Pathway will, oh, wow, what a TP onto Omega.
Look at the swag, man.
The army, the general is back.
Look at the swag. And because of that, again, the back-to-back frontliners from Blacklist pushing through deep into Omega's territory, they were able to push down tier 2.
Okay, now they're pushing down tier 2 again on the middle lane.
The clap back, oh, of course.
Omega's playing like Blacklist also right now.
It's a Barangay Ube.
The Barangay Ube.
Which I think is a smart way to play. I mean, no pun intended, but look at the front line, right? As long as Chaknu finds somebody and Ryota compromises the back line, the Frigid Breath and the Deadly Catch should get some kills. And then Jome is there for the cleanup.
Yeah, and we can see Omega. I mean, Ryota, although he has a good KDA, 1, 2, 3, it's not like the glue's disturbance onto Blacklist. It's not that prevalent anymore because Dilar's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So like both XP laners are just going for the front lines. Just making sure that the damage dealers don't have a good angle to dish out the damage and make sure to free hit.
That's right. For Blacklist, it's less honest.
Yeah.
It's more angles. You have to find angles. For Smart Omega, they can cut right through you, whether it be through the big 5-man pushes, through the big team fights. Again, Deadly Catch and Frigid Breath. And then you have Ryota cutting through. What they do have, Blacklist, is MP the King. I think he's the main difference maker, is once you scramble Smart Omega, it's over. That's why the Barangay now is playing their version of the Ube.
Yeah, especially towards this next Lord objective. If you can't find where MP the King is hiding, we can see another Lord steal.
Look at this blitz, and then a feint. Lord here put down to about half health, let it reset hard. I think Smart Omega's waiting for a big ult to come out. Then they'll snap.
Yeah.
Then they'll clap back.
Most probably the Wild Charge or the Glorious Pathway, because those are the ultimates that really turn things around, really turn clashes around.
That's right. That last big one was off of a chaotic start. That Exort, Exort coming in with his veteran wiles, took advantage of Haji here.
Okay, now this time they're giving it to Haji.
Oh, he's fine.
They're telling Haji, you can't just check bush here.
Nothing is free.
Nothing is free.
Go back, Salik Imam.
This seat is taken.
Go back. Interestingly enough, Haji knows what it's like to play for Omega.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. His first world championship in M2.
So not just the organizations
he was wearing the green and black.
Yeah, it's not just the organizations who have a rich history. It's all the individual players as well.
Even on a player-to-player basis.
Yeah, Adoryu, even Exort, now Chakno with
on
a conceal.
Oh, they let go. Again, it's the same dance.
It's a push and pull.
It's the same dance, but look at this. Omega off of a single hero. Andor able to blitz the Lord down to 3/4 of its health. Ryota put down about half. And Dilar pushing through. No ults still. No ults committed.
Okay, the first one to let go of an ult. The first one to get baited and let go of an ult will lose.
That's right. You go first. No, you.
First. The first one who punches will lose.
Don't throw a punch. Don't throw a punch. Just look for the counter.
Yes. And that's what they're looking for.
Bob and weave.
Wow.
Oh, wait. We're approaching the point of no return, Ingan. Look at this. The Lord here down a third of its health. And it's a soft reset. Not about half. Great bush control here by Dilar and Exort.
Wow! They bursted down the Lord. And now Blacklist has to answer because they have no trade. Ryota was able to escape. Despite the glorious pathway.
The Ryota army erupted. Do you see that? I could have sworn he was dead.
Wow. He saved that flicker for the most crucial time.
And I think there was a proc of the Brave Smite at that last moment that gave him just a little, oh my God.
Wow. Blacklist has to revitalize, but Ryota still. It looks like, I cannot explain what happened with Ryota.
That was amazing. That was a micro moment. In
a pixel perfect move.
In a masterpiece of a fight. Again, 4-8 here. About 2,000 gold. Smart Omega is ahead, but Blacklist have found their moments here. And now they have to pull out another one. Huge one. An enhanced Lord crashing through mid.
Joe has the Malefic Roar. Dilar has to commit that glorious pathway. Save this inhibitor turret in the middle lane. Ryota goes in with a split. Who is he going to catch? Outplay still dishing out the damage here. Lord still alive.
Ryota!
Oh, Ryota will fall down. What a good pickup here from MP the King. But Barangay still wants to focus on the objectives. Going in the inhibitor turret on the top lane, but I think Blacklist is going to be able to defend this. But Haji says, no, we want to answer right now. A weaky shadow kill. Fetching Glacier is dead. Dilar's going to get caught up in the mix of everything. And now Omega, all of a sudden, is back on top.
Amazing space discipline by Andoryu. That's one of the main weaknesses of a Bane. You're not as mobile as you'd like to be, but if you can bob and weave, kite through the effective damage of your opponents, you're basically a god. Look at this. He's rocking Sky Piercer, 5 stacks on it, maybe 2 or 3, depending on how much time you put on there. A Malefic Roar, Brute Force Breastplate. He's fully built. Like they can take anything they want now.
Oh, Haji in with a wild charge.
Oh, baby catch!
But still, Omega gets the inhibitor turret onto the top lane. Now, Andoryu is really being a thorn in the neck of Blacklist. Every single time the deadly catch can be casted, he casts it right away.
And Blacklist knows, especially since MP the King is playing among the ranks. A Bane in the hands of a very, very proficient jungler with a team that's willing to lean into it is a thing of beauty. Look at this!
Oh, Haji's gonna get caught up again with the Earth Shatter. The Immortality will be Pop Ryota doing the split. First man down is Haji. Glorious Pathway just to escape. And now Omega, they got minions in the bottom lane. I think they can take this game away from Blacklist.
This is the call. Joe working on the orange buff. Might be the pied de resistance. Huge wave in mid, looking to clear. Deadly catch!
Back once again, but a conceal onto the backline. Frederick Glacier is there to bring down the General. 5 members of Barangay are still here. Maintenance onto the bottom lane. Now Blazing Duet coming in from Jome as they take game 1 away. But look at Outplay, still on the attack. Omega manages to break the crystal and break the code.
See that smile on Andorio's face. He knew that the Barangay had it. He knew that the saying rings true. It's very difficult to face a Bane that has eyes on an objective.
That steal pick away from MP the King, because Andorio knows that MP the King's gonna pick up this Bane, and Andorio performed well with the Bane.
Once again, that's game 1 going over to Barangay. Let's throw it over to the Infinix Game Tambayan for the breakdown.
Good draft, good synergy, and goods na goods pa rin ang Smart Omega as they keep and hope to keep that streak of matches alive as they win game number 1.
You know what's funny? Our question was, how is the Claude gonna enter the team fight? But that ended up becoming, how will Blacklist International enter the team fight? The Hylos, the Glue, the Bane together, they couldn't get close.
Yeah, and nabanggit ni Renmar kanina no, na kailangan na makakapangansel dun sa Claude. But the only response from Blacklist International was the Grok. And napupurify agad yun easily yung wild charge ni Haji using that Grok. Madali siyang napupurify ni Big J. Kaya naman grabe yung pagwawala ng Claude sa dance floor na kahit nasa gitna siya, it doesn't matter because there were 5 of them there.
Chakno, di pa tapos. Chakto. Chakto na. Dahil ikaw ang MVP ng game number 1. Just really dishing those assists para sa kanya mga kakampi.
You know, a lot of people are asking, why do the casters, the talents, they seem to praise Chakno a lot? Come on! That game, it looks like he single-handedly stopped every rotation of Blacklist International. He was always in the right shrubs.
Yes.
He was always in the right position. That even Brigida and Chantel on the Filipino broadcast pointed it out. I'm sure Leo and Ingan said the same thing. Chakno just was always there. The Mamba was always ready.
Kaya every time na susubukang mag-set up ng koponan ng Blacklist International, and mind you, one of their only key to be able to set up ay, again, yung wild charge coming from Haji, nababantayan agad sila kasi every single time, ang ganda na pagkakapwesto ni Chakno. But more than Chakno also, I want to also bring up yung existence dito ni Andoryu. Every chance he gets, he casts deadly catch doon sa mid lane turret. Ibig sabihin, kada umaangat yung minion wave nila, nababawasan ng paunti-unti yung mid lane turret, kaya nagkaroon sila ng madaling space early on sa ating laban.
The minion wave management in the mid lane by Smart Omega made it so difficult for Blacklist International to position well around the Lords. And even in this take, Exort had to go back and help clear those minion waves. And that was already the perfect initiation and start by Haji to try and turn things around for Blacklist International. But then since, again, the constant pressure in the mid lane, it stopped Blacklist International from being able to get the good positions and the good timings around the Lord dance. Yes.
Definitely. Kaya nahihirapan sila makapwesto kasi again, building up on the fact na ang ganda ng lane management na nagmumula dito sa koponan ng barangay, nahihirapan din sila na mag-engage na kung susubukan nilang mag-hero dun sa Lord dance, ang daming pangontra ng koponan ng Smart Omega. Kaya kung babalikan natin, nabanggit natin sa draft na isa talaga sa mga pang-counter against an assassin ay yung Aurora. And i-couple mo pa yung fact na meron silang deadly catch coming from this Bane. Every chance na magka-quad shadow, itong si MP the King, madali siyang napipigilan and madali siyang nababurst down.
Yeah, and look at the itemization by Edith. It's so funny to me that we were talking about this earlier, Auntie Anara, na parang sinasabi natin, ay, wala na masyado nagdo-dominance eyes, but Omega are still sticking to that idea. Of course, going up against the fact that they have the Hylos to contest and, of course, the Revitalize coming in from that EXP laner, the dominance eyes made sense. Add to that the Thunderbelt, the little bits of poke damage, basic attacks that you can get from the Edith. It always brought Haji down to a dangerous health level.
Yes, and alam mo, kaya nagme-make sense sa akin yung draft dito ng koponan ng barangay. Lahat sila may slow. Hylos, nakapagpapabilis ng kanyang koponan, Pero lahat sila may slow. And mind you, whenever kinakas yung glorious pathway, it is only Hylos that gets the slow reduction. Ibig sabihin, hindi masuslow si Hylos kapag nandun siya sa glorious pathway. But the rest of his team, nasuslow pa rin. Yung corrosion sight na nagmumula sa Claude, yung deadly catch, yung hailstone blast, lahat nagme-make sense. Kaya nahihirapan talaga pumasok yung side ng Blacklist International.
And to think that it was the side of Blacklist International na gumamit ng Bane, na doon nila nakuha, I believe, yung kanilang unang panalo in this Season 14. It was the same sort of medicine that was also used by Omega or Smart Omega against them. You were also pertaining na posibleng maging magulo nga yung laban na to from start to finish. And you've pointed out kung ano yung mga pieces or yung mga key points kung paano ba nila na-detach yung chaos and how can they work on from those chaos. But again, how has it been for the side of Blacklist International? Kasi parang kontrahan lang sila ng gulo eh. What was it for Blacklist International that kind of like gave them a hard time in terms of execution?
Well, along with the slow factor that Auntie Anara mentioned, we have to look at the first 2 picks and the last 2 picks of Omega. So they went with the Bane and Glue in the last 2 picks, and it was very obvious but the effect there. But I want to point out here the Aurora priority for Ukir. So Blacklist International ended up picking the Hayabusa into that. So one of the things you want to do as a Hayabusa is that you disrupt the mid lane rotation by using your ultimate preemptively para matanggal mo yung mga key abilities. For example, if that was a Faramis, you take away the the Nether Realm. As the Aurora, gusto mo lang i-pop yung passive niya para mapapaisip na yung roam at saka mid laner, ay sasama ba talaga tayo sa laban na to? But since, again, it's an Aurora, even though we saw that in the first 2 rotations, he got to pop the passive of Ukir as the game went on. Since he got pressured in the jungle, Chakno was always just covering, they couldn't do that. They wanted to build an advantage before a team fight even began, off of the back of the Hayabusa, off of the back of the Grok, but Omega did not give that.
Yeah, and this is why you guys were pertaining more on like the alpha pick on rather than the Hayabusa. Kasi kahit paano, posible na makalaban pa siya in some of those certain situations, but Hayabusa does, deal a ton of damage, pero going up against probably a glue, it's kind of like a little difficult for them to execute and maneuver sa mga ganong klase ng galawan. And that, aside from everything that they've mentioned, are the reasons why the side of Smart Omega got the victory. Ingan's right over there, and I'm sure that you're gonna be seeing him again in the English broadcast. But for Blacklist International, back to the drawing board. Ang kailangan nilang gawin dito, they're just gonna have to reset. And I'm sure na kayo din kailangan after a really good matchup. Kasi ngayon, it's gonna be Mara Aquino together with our community. Mara, what's up?
Kasama ko ngayon ng mga fans ng Smart Omega. Nasaan na ang mga fans ng Smart Omega? Hindi lang yan. Katabi ko dito ang kanilang super fan. Angie, kamusta ka?
Hello po. I'm very, very happy today.
Okay, so sabi mo nga kanina, super fan ka ng Smart Omega.
Yes.
Meron pang green flag dito. Sino
Proudly
sa kanila?
wearing green.
Sino sa kanila yung talagang sinusuportahan mo?
Siyempre, sino pa bang magaling na mag-entry sa kanila? Chakno!
Chakno! Alam, nakaka-impress naman talaga si Chakno.
Sobra po.
Ngayon, captain na siya. What do you think about that?
Siyempre, I know that his leadership talagang kitang-kita naman sa first game na panalo niya agad. Ang easy nga eh. Akala nga namin, kinakabahan kami kanina. Pero kitang-kita with his leadership, whenever he entries, he goes in with confidence.
Goes in with confidence! Okay, paano ka nga ba naging super fan?
Aside from, watching them, syempre here in MPL, supporting them, and inviting my friends, I took it a bit further. Kasi po, me as an aspiring teacher, we guide kids and we actually build an esports guild.
Oh, wow!
Yes.
Saan school to?
Pwede ba i-disclose?
Sige. Pero pwede pala yun, teacher ka.
So
pwede silang maglaro ng ML habang nasa class?
Syempre hindi. Iba pa rin yung esports guild nila. It's esports time. And by that, kasi, I have a lot of students who are very interested in ML. And one of my students actually really look up to Chaknu. And yun yung ini-inspire namin na, of course, habang young pa sila, habang bata pa sila na nata-train na sila to becoming maybe, so hopefully, the next esports players.
So sila Chaknu,
Yan, inspiration
Ayan o,
yan.
nakikinig sila
Hello
ngayon.
po.
pati yung Smart Omega. Anong gusto mong sabihin sa kanila kung paano sila nag-i-influence ng mga students mo?
Siyempre, thank you po, especially sa team ng Smart Omega, lalo na po kay Chuck Nu, kasi you've been inspiring not only here, the people here supporting you guys, but also people who are, especially the students who are looking up to you. They want to be like you in the future, and they want to be like you as a leader.
Oh, thank you so much, super fan. Sa kabilang panig naman, Angie, kasi alam ko, meron kayong booth kasama natin dito. Community leader, Honey Glaze.
Hi, Mara. Hi, Smart Omega Kabarangay!
Kasi caster ka dati ng Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Ngayon, community leader ka na. Alam ko maraming mga pakulo at ganap sa booth nyo. Ano bang makikita ng mga fans doon?
Ngayon kasi, nag-activate na yung booth namin, Mara. We have jerseys available na for every barangay or kaya naman every fan of Mobile Legends ngayon na nandito sa MPL. At ayan.
Ang ganda nga. Maganda. Yung jacket ba para on sale ba yun sa
On the way na daw po. Ang jacket.
Pati yung pants. Nakalagay Omega.
Secret lang muna yung
Secret
fans.
lang?
Para may pang-intensity. Pero ito yung secret namin
Ano
din.
pa?
Na
Ano
pwede
pa?
naming ibunyag ngayon. Meron kaming, sino bang bias nyo? Meron kaming photo cards of every kabarangay na gustong bumili ng mga merch namin. So, ayan.
Para siyang galit dito.
Ayaw lumabas
So,
niyan eh.
Ano to? Lahat ng mga players nandun or tigi-isa ba?
Tigi-isa. Kasi meron kaming pakulo sa booth namin na kapag bumili kayo ng merch, pag bumili kayo ng jersey, hindi nyo malalaman kung sino yung pwede nyo makuha.
So surprise!
Yes.
O, paano pa masuportahan ang Smart Omega? Ano yung mga Facebook, social media? How?
Yan. Pasok po kayo, sali po kayo sa ating community group. Meron po kami dyan on FB. You can also find us on every social media at Omega Esports PA.
Oh, gusto niyo yan? Suportahan na ang Smart Omega sa kanilang booth ngayon. Magsisimula na ang ating laban. We're gonna throw to panel. Okay, kaya nyo? Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Panel?
Kayo?
That's adorable. I want some of those, Mara. Alam mo na, since
Pengi.
hawak mo na, huwag mo nang bitawan. Okay, kapit ka na dyan. But yes, for everybody else who's wondering, you got that jersey over there.
Natakpan ko
Posible
pala.
nyo makuha.
Sabi ko.
Sino ba yung pangalan na nasa likod? Sino yung pangalan na nasa likod? We're about to
It
figure it out.
is
It's
Omega! May
Diba?
player pala
So,
na pangalan Omega sa Omega.
Pwede. Back and forth, back and front, at yan ang posible nyo makuha when you go here. Dito mismo, sa ating venue to get that. Right?
Gusto ko dito, Omega sa harap, Omega sa likod.
Batik yan. You know where that is. Ano
meron
pa?
ka bang photo card ng mga favorite kabarangay?
Tapos randomized pa yon. Di mo
Yeah.
alam kung ano magagaling. Pero ito, hindi randomized.
Ano yan?
Kasi pwede kayong manalo ng not 1, not 2, but 90,000
Wow!
diamonds. Iba yung goal. 90,000
Mahirap
diamonds.
kasi
Ang hirap kasing bilangin pag hanggang 90,000. Ang kailangan nyo lang gawin is pumunta dito, of course, sa MPL Arena at i-post ang inyong live experience sa Facebook and TikTok with the hashtag MPLS14 live experience. Again, that's hashtag MPLS14 live experience. Siguraduhin nyo lang na nakapublic lahat ng posts nyo at itag ang official pages ng MPL Philippines. Para alam naman namin na nag-post kayo kasi sayang naman.
Pag di namin nakita.
Oo, pag di namin nakita, kayo din. 90,000 diamonds din yun.
Sayang.
Sayang na sayang. Pero ito ang mas hindi sasayang. Kasi pwede nyo nang gawin ang inyong smart gameplay pose. Ako, hindi ko alam kung paano ko ba gawin eh. Pero hindi ba natin makikita? Mamaya yan.
Kopyahan nyo.
So si Jome ang bida ngayon. So kailangan yung gayahin yan. Bigyan nyo ako ng konting baril. Kasi I assume baril.
Ayan, yun.
Ayan. Tutok.
Gayahin niyo yung post ni Jom. Gayahin niyo yung post ni Jom.
Si Jom.
Gayahin mo yung post.
Gayahin niyo yung post ni Jom. Yun nasa screen niyo.
2.
Ayan, kuya.
Ito.
Gayahin niyo yung post. Gayahin niyo yung
Guys,
post.
oras na para gayahin
Ayun,
yung
si
post,
kuya.
ha? Yeah! Pwede.
Pwede. We close.
Pasado. We love it. Okay.
Yan!
Nadali mo. Congratulations. At ikaw ang makakuha ng ating redeemable in-game code courtesy of Smart gameplay post. Maraming salamat sa hashtag The Power of Smart for making this possible together with MPL Philippines. And again, congratulations sa'yo. Ikaw ang nanalo kasama ang iyong... Ganun. Wala, hindi nyo ginaya.
Iba naman.
Sayang. Ay, iba na pala yun. Ganun pala yun. Ganun pala yung sunod nun, no? Pero di natin alam. Hindi rin natin alam kung ano ba ang posibleng mangyari dito sa series na to. Kasi sa totoo lang, we've seen Blacklist International, we've seen Smart Omega. Just like what you said, this is history. Madalas na nagiging pangmatagalan ang serye na ito. But from the previous times, we've seen not so much end sweeps as well.
Yeah, yung gusto ko sabihin dito for Smart Omega, now they pick the blue side. Gets talaga nila yung meta na, ito yung meta na bawal ka talaga matakot. You can't be afraid in this meta. If you see a play, you have to make it. If you want to do something crazy in the draft, you have to go ahead and commit it. Even though low-key, yung Aurora first 2 picks on the red side, it ended up becoming a really good effect. So now I'm interested to see what they're gonna do on the blue side. But we know Coach Bonchan for the longest time has been a really good counter drafter sa red side. So it's gonna be interesting.
And alam mo, no, I really would like to describe Smart Omega's entire gameplay as beautiful chaos. Parang yun talaga yung siguro nagsaset apart sa Omega sa ibang mga teams. Kasi kung papansinin mo yung kuponan ng Smart Omega, kapag naglalaro sila, gulo. Tapos yung gulo na yun, natatranslate nila lagi sa objectives. And sobrang ine-exemplify yun ngayon as we enter week 2. Kasi last week nakita na natin yun. Pero now, pinapalakas pa nila lalo yung ganong klase ng identity nila.
Yeah, honestly, it favors them so well. Na yung mga ganong klase kasi alam nila kung kailan sila dapat maging magulo.
Yes.
And then, habang magulo sila, they're trying to find something like objectives. They're trying to find a kill.
Kaya
they're trying to
hindi
find
sila-
something always.
Kaya ang hirap nilang basahin as a team.
Right? This is now something that Coach Bonchan, just like what Renmar has mentioned, a really good counter drafter para doon sa kanilang composition. We've seen Bane as a surprise para sa
Rift.
kupunan ng Smart Omega. Maybe they could build
Rift.
up on that one as well, knowing that MP the King uses it. But it is still a huge possibility kasi ang dami pang posible at ang daming pwedeng picks. We're gonna start off with Inherit.
Yep. Great first pick up there for Omega, Blacklist. Which is the Moskov or the Roger, or you can actually wait for that pick later on. You can go ahead and... Oh, they go for the Roger. Edith, take it away from Chakno, tapos ilagay mo sa kamay ni Haji in the room. Yep, Edith nga.
The hunter
Yeah.
of all the evil
I really
gods.
think no, sobrang effective ng Edith. And lagi nating binabanggit to, more than the chain crowd control also. Dahil sa pagkaka-buff again, revamp ng Thunderbelt as an item. Kapag sumasakit yung damage output mo using the Thunderbelt, nagkakaroon ka rin ng hybrid defense based on the stacks. So sobrang ganda ng item na yun, especially for an Edith.
Yeah, I mean, kung tatakpan mo yung teams, yung dalawang teams, parang ito lang din yung kind of like replica with what happened during game number 1, where the Hylas is on the blue side and then the Edith is on the red. Pero ito yata yung change because Aurora is gonna be switching onto the blue side. Dadalhing muli ni na Coach Lembot at Smart Omega yung gamit ni Okir kanina.
Grabe, Aurora priority ulit Again, lason din to. Pero low yi naman. So, yung option naman dito ng Blacklist International, they don't necessarily have to always just fight around the objectives or fight as one. Again, pwede mo i-match yung gulon, yung organized na gulo na playstyle ng Omega. And then, ilaro mo naman yung mapa. Go for the macro plays, go for the split pushes, send the low E somewhere else. Break the formation of Omega.
Yes. Kaya nga, talaga no, ang ganda lagi ng pagkakapick ng Aurora for the side of OMG. Kasi laging nasa first phase ng draft. And again, nabanggit na natin to kanina kung papaano nga nako-close down noon yung mga assassins. Pero yun na nga daw.
Matik yan,
What she
Matik
said.
yan. What she said. Matik, as of this moment, you'd also love to give commendation para sa lahat ng ating mga fans na nanonood. We're trying to figure something out, at least. Diba? Ayan na. Nakalatag na. And I am sure that all of our amateur teams, including the ones that are at the phone, ay nakikita ang ating mga ganap. But you've mentioned this as well, going back into the draft, na parang yung Blacklist International, ayaw nila nung gulo the same way that Smart Omega kind of wants to. So at some point in time, mas bibilisan nila kung ano yung ganap. Sa totoo lang, pwedeng kami din.
Tama, tama,
Pwedeng
tama.
kami din.
Sino gusto ng Game 3?
Amin. Diba? We don't agree, we don't disagree. All we saying is, we understand.
Oy!
Oy!
Ang ganda! Blinak nila kagad yung potential na Bane
Lahat.
pickup.
Yep. And also, yung pagkaka-first skill ng
Louis.
isang Louis, yung Circling Eagle ng Mathilda, lahat mabablock ng Guardian's barrier.
Oh,
ng isang
mapapabalik.
Lolita.
Iikot si Haji sa sarili niya. Well, hindi naman sa ganun, pero parang ganun.
Parang ganun na nga.
Parang ganun na.
Parang medyo mahihirapan siya to like unleash those wisps na dala nitong Matilda just because of the shield na dala nitong Lolita. Any final thoughts regarding the final pick para sa Blacklist?
Pwede pang mag-Julian, yung
Yeah.
koponan ng Blacklist International. Although, kung mag-Julian sila, kailangan lang nilang maging cautious dun sa fact na pwedeng ibalik ng Lolita yung shuriken na umiikot. Yun lang naman yung kailangan nilang bantayan.
Ang lasa nung Lolita pick kasi mapapaisip ka talaga na kung ano yung pipiliin mo. So, feel ko ito yung safe option eh. Lalaro na lang nila yung mapa. They're just gonna end up playing the map, playing the macro game because it's so tough. Again, it's tough for Blacklist International to fight into the lineup of Omega.
This is what we're talking about, right? Yung lineup ng Smart Omega, lagi sila may baon. Just like what you said, we've seen
Yes.
Hanzo, now it's the Lolita para sa barangay.
Oo, kasi ang gandang sagot nito kasi na-force na nila na hindi mag-Bane. Tapos ngayon, lahat ng heroes na meron, yung koponan ng Blacklist International, I would say madaling ma-counter ng Guardian's Shield barrier na isang Lolita. Kasi even the Blazing Duet of a Claude, kaya agad ibalik ng Lolita yung damage output na nanggagaling doon.
This is what I often forget too. Guardian Bulwark pala.
Oo.
Yung kay
Dati
Lolita.
kasi
Yung barrier, kay Grak pala yun.
Kay Grab. Pero dati may barrier din.
May barrier din siya eh.
Well,
Press B.
eto na yun. We're about to figure out if Smart Omega can sweep or Blacklist International will extend to Game 3.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Match point for the barangay as the agents struggle to find their footing. Jose Ingan and Leo here at your service. Can I just say, I agree with the panel, man. Every single pickup from the barangay seems to answer whatever Black is doing and more.
There's a good counter. I mean, they were just aiming for Chaknu's Lolita to counter at the Bane, the potential Bane pick. But with Outplay's Claude pick, it's like, it's a 2-for-1 when they picked up that Lolita.
Yeah. But if anything, you mentioned outplayed on Claude. Blacklist have relatively comfortable picks, right? Like Exord is great on the low Yi. MP the King, we know what he can do with an aggressive jungler like Roger. And Outplayed has won multiple championships in the MPL because of a Claude here. So with that said, I don't feel so scared for Black. And I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe we do see Game 3.
Although, a lot of people are asking for game number 3, but I'm not sure if Omega wants that. But Andoryu, on the other hand, it's going to be a good game for him or a fun game for him if he ever reaches his early game power spike because almost everyone from the lineup of Blacklist
Softies.
are softies.
Yeah.
Aside from Dilar, maybe.
There's literally half the room does not want to see Game 3.
Yeah.
And you're right. Again, it's exacerbated by the fact. We were just talking about it.
Again, the Leo caster curse.
They anticipate. No, this time you were the one who was talking about it.
So it's just a caster curse.
Yeah.
This time,
Yeah. So you were mentioning how Andoryu can just, anticipate whoever walks into the wrong bush. And here it just so happens that it was Haji. Shades of Game 1. Now Jome in trouble.
Oh, MP the King, one like and pounce in just to bring down Jome. He popped his Purify even. That's a good trade here for Black, but on the other hand, Omega will secure the first turtle.
All right, you know what? I'll call this a small victory for Omega, given that, Jome died, he spent his Purify, it still led to a turtle for the barangay. So it's a small victory, but it was costly.
It really costed a lot, especially for Jome with the Harith. You want Harith to dominate the early game, especially up against Claude. Although MP the King was there to finish the job. I mean, Jome, you just performed well with a Harith against Falcon's AP brand.
It's okay, man.
It's okay.
You know what they say, either go big or go Jome.
Wow. Literally, because Jome's, what 6'1", 6'2"?
He's one of the few aggressive gold laners left, and I think Blacklist did well to punish that. They saw that he was a little in too deep and outplayed, the veteran that he is, called for MP the King and went for that. Blacklist is happy with what they got. Still, we're looking at a wash game here, 1-1. Small advantage for Smart Omega. They did get the turtle. About 100, 200 gold ahead, 3 minutes in. I think this is a time where Outplay should say, you know what, let's take advantage of this.
Yeah.
I have a small gold lead over Jome.
Yeah, especially towards the late game. Again, this is a Claude. And at the same time, towards the late game, they technically have 3 marksmen. That's MP, Delar, and Outplayed.
Delar, Asterisk, yeah?
Yeah, Asterisk on Delar, especially when he casts that Primal Wrath. But still, towards the late game, I would really favor Black.
If they get there.
If they get there. But the problem is, Omega, they've been performing well. Their average games are relatively fast, except for the FCAP game where they reach, I believe, 18 or 20 minutes.
Different story.
That's FCAP.
Yeah. Here we go, about 20 seconds until the next turtle. Spawning in the upper quarter once more. And very similar to game 1, Omega pulling out the Omega Ube once more. Like they're all rotating in big 3-man, 4-man coalitions. Haji here, once again on the receiving end, the business end of Omega's aggression. And we haven't really seen a big 5-man fight. I think that should be a thing of beauty, especially since you're looking at not just the Glorious Pathway here, it is now, but as well a numerous blast.
But on the other hand, on the bottom lane, Blacklist wants to go right after Jome once again. They're going to get an uncontested turtle here, but Jome has to walk away, and I believe he's going to evade that 4-man rush from Blacklist. And this time, they're answering right back. Don't touch my Jome! Haji has to use Circling Eagle just to walk away, but Exor was there. He's going to fall down. The Numinal Blast will hit. Omega answered right back. No trades for Blacklist.
Thank you, random patch from about 9 months ago. That would have not been possible if not for the post-turtle movement speed in the river. Now Outplayed in trouble.
Especially if you have the Wilderness Blessing here for both of the roamers. Now Omega, right on, they're really controlling the pace. It's a good game for everyone, especially for Andoryu. And even Andoryu, the mid trio doesn't even have to rotate around Andoryu anymore. Andoryu's a big boy. He can manage himself. He can burst down anyone, any of the 4 members of Blacklist.
And look at that. It's as if the first kill in gold didn't really happen because Jome just pushed that tier 1 all by himself.
Yeah. So right now, it's not looking good for Blacklist. But again, they still have a lot of damage towards the late game if ever they reach it. And the X Factor. X-Sort with the Luyi. Exort's been flexing this Luyi pick ever since even last season, both in MPL and MPL. So if Blacklist wants to turn things around, they really have to first make it to the late game.
Egan, let me just tell you, the only real gambit they're playing with, if Exort finds a nice diversion, is, I'm being real particular with my words here, it's a very specific combo, is they get a diversion play into a full-on Delar combo. Like, that's it. And these are all single target skills. Sure, maybe you can find one again with Haji, but that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, plus the Chaknu factor, the Lolita. I'm pretty sure Chaknu's just gonna wait for Outplayed to cast that Blazing Duet, and once it's casted, the Bulwarks, the Guardian's Barrier, is just there to deflect damage. Okay, Jome is the next target once again. He has the Examine Force.
What?
And Jome manages to escape again. The aggressive attack coming in from Blacklist now. Ryota Army is here with the Glorious Pathway. MP the King's going to fall down. Delar is the next target. And Chaknu there with the stun. But Delar, look at the Numinal Blast! Connects onto 2. Primal Wrath. Not going to be enough. And now Omega is just on a rampage. This was not like game number 1, because game number 1, it was a push and pull back and forth.
It's growing on you, huh? Ryota Army.
The Ryota Army.
What I'm impressed more than just the follow-through, was how single-handedly Big J made Blacklist think twice about that diversion play. Like, he just dropped the Zaman Force, Chrono dashed through the wall, and even MP the King was like, is this even worth it?
Yeah.
And that's what spelled disaster. That's what made me think the rest of what follows from here is all Omega.
And even the re-engage from Omega, like the chemistry, we've been talking about Omega's chemistry since week number 1.
That's right.
They had a lot of mix and matches last season, but this time their 5-man is complete and the chemistry isn't a problem anymore for Barangay.
Amazing. There you saw in the instant replay brought to us by Infinix. You saw again the instantaneous response. Now let's go again.
The General charging right on. Zaman Force here for Joe. But Blacklist was able to escape. Look at that Virgin Glacier connecting onto 2. Outplayed onto the back line. Blazing Duet. But Omega was ready for that Blazing Duet, and he's going to fall down. Wow, every single member of Omega is doing their part. Ryota with the charge, Chaknu with the defense, and the rest for the damage to bring down Outplayed.
That was Whiplash. I think Outplayed went a little too fast, and suddenly Found out he was out of his breath. Ridiculous response by Smart Omega. Now 4,000 gold ahead. I'm wondering now what the possible answer is from Blacklist, besides a punish, right? Besides the punish, because so far, it seems like Smart Omega are doing exactly just that, Ingan. They're leveraging their amazing synergy, their bond, their chemistry. And wait, diversion play into where? Into where?
They're going to crash onto Ryota here, but they're prepared. Glorious Path once again. Delor has to use the flicker out. But it's happened for will be cast to the bridging glacier, connecting onto two, but the Numinum Blast outplayed has to walk away with the blazing duet. And the kill spree coming in from Jome as Andoryu picks up a Sky Piercer.
What?
You cannot surprise the barangay.
Did you see that? A forward flicker by Ukir and a real, what was that, a Euro step by Chakno? It's as if they anticipated the diversion. It's as if they told Black, go here. The wide bush, go here.
This is why Chakno opted for the flicker instead of the revitalize. They don't need sustain. They don't need extra help. They need the Chak Mamba to unleash that. As you mentioned, the Numinum Blast Flicker combination connecting onto two.
They are the aggressors.
Wow.
They are the aggressors. They don't need the extra protection. If anything, the Purify on Jome is their only real defensive battle spell. The Revitalize on Ryota allows for them to push forward.
I mean...
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Blood Wings.
For me, Blacklist, as much as you want to say that they should split push, the threat of Andoryu makes it hard for Outplay to do those split pushes. Again, this is a very mobile assassin that could easily burst down Outplay regardless of the Purify.
Not just Outplayed, I mean, a majority of
Even
them.
everywhere, yeah.
Yes.
Even Exort. And with the Lord and this immense gold lead, I think they can bring down Inhibitor Dirt with one Lord. But here comes the Glorious Pathway once again, just to scare away Blacklist. Oh, this is going to be a hard defense for the Agents.
Looking at their wave clear, I think it's quite respectable. You do have the Claude, you have the Lu Yi, who can just, you know, almost as if doing basic attacks can clear, as well as MP the King. His first item was the Wind Talker, so he does have respectable wave clear. Now Haji's in trouble!
Conceal right in front of the faces of the Agents. Circling Eagle, but Numinum Blast once again. Connecting plus the Frigid Glacier. Outplayed, forced to use the Blazing Duet, but won't commit because the damage from Omega. Just too much.
Omega is a single-minded unit. They're going to penetrate up top. Bottom's going to be up next. MP the King doing his best to cover up that hole. Sink in their ship!
Toy Army once again leading the charge. Omega still undefeated. The Lord's going to fall down. The minions aren't there. Blacklist, the circumstances lined up for the Agents. Because if there was one minion, just one minion, the game would be over.
It would have been over. The Riot Army are going wild. Online, here, in Green Sun, and everywhere around the world. If you thought they could only engage via the Numinum Blast, think again! Here it is!
Who has the flicker? Chak Mamba for Omega!
A sweep by the Barangay, continuing their streak. Just another day in the office for the Mamba. Hall of Legends inductee. Amazing work.
For all you players questioning Lolita in RNG, saying it's not fun to use Lolita with the Revitalize, this is a signal you can use Lolita with the Flicker again.
Wow. I'm baffled by how well Smart Omega is playing in Season 14, Ingan. They are a well-oiled machine. You know what they say? Bonds formed through traumatic experiences are the strongest. They went through one hell of a season, Season 13. Now they're back, better than ever.
And those traumatic experiences mostly were caused by Blacklist, so this was a revenge tour for Omega.
This is cathartic.
Super.
This is emotional release, and look at that, the respect between both squads, and welcoming into his loving arms Exort. I bet the Omega boys missed Exort.
Yeah, actually, I've been to Omega's bootcamp. Exort's one of the noisiest, rowdiest players from the whole squad.
In any team he's part of, he's one of the nicest guys. I can tell you that.
But this time, only one victor will prevail. In this case, Omega starting out strong. Third series. Well, they won.
Putting myself in the shoes of an agent of the Code Breakers, you have to wonder, when are they going to find that winning formula? When is the code going to work?
It's going to take them a long time, but still, we're still being number 2. A lot of adjustments, a lot of time for them to make the necessary adjustments. So props for Blacklist for giving us one hell of a
That's right. They let the general play, the general of the Delarmy, and they shuffled around, let Exort come on and put Haji back into the row, but I guess it's back to the drawing board. GG will play Blacks International. It's Smart Omega who comes out on top. Is this their third win now?
third win, yeah.
Their third win now, their second sweep in Season 14.
They've only lost one game so far.
And only the F-Cap.
And only to F-Cap.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor. He's Jose Ingan. I'm Leo at your service. Throw over to the stage with Mara Aquino and Smart Omega.
All right, everybody, let me hear it from you. Bagong shot! Omega! Congratulations, Smart Omega. Riota, quick background sa lahat ng mga hindi nakakaalam. Dati, kayo ni Delar, di ba? Teammates kayo nung Onyx. Main 5 siya nun, ikaw, sub para kay Delar. Ngayon, you're going head-to-head against each other. Natatalo mo na siya. How does that make you feel?
Para sa akin, sakto lang. Kasi, feel ko parang nagbabawi pa siya ng laro eh. Kung kakabalik niya lang. Yun para sa akin.
Patingin nga ng side mo na parang Delar ulit. Patingin. Tapos point mo, patingin. Yung side mo, yung kanina, pinakita mo. Riota, it's so nice to see you shining. That's really, really nice. Ngayon naman si Chaknu. Wow! Okay, ulitin natin yon. Ngayon naman si Chaknu. Chaknu, pag ikaw talaga humahawak ng mic, no? Talaga nababaliw yung mga tao. Chaknu, eto ba, you guys have been winning. How many games in a row? Win streak kayo. Ito na ba yung best form ng Smart Omega? At bakit nga ba na parang pasok na pasok yung playstyle ng Omega sa meta ngayon?
Siguro, hindi pa to yung best form namin eh. Ano pa lang. Abang daily, nag-improve kumbaga daily.
Mag-i-improve pa kayo ngayon? Nasa-sweet nyo na yung mga kalaban nyo? So bakit nga ba pasok yung playstyle ng Omega? Kasi napansin ko, usually yung mga teams na very systematic ay hindi ganun kaganda yung resulta sa meta ngayon. Pero kayo, yung Omega, nag-go lang ng go, lagi kayong nananalo. Bakit nga ba kayo pasok ngayon?
Siguro, mas lang kami sumugal sa play, ganun. Kaya pasok yung laro namin sa meta ngayon.
Yan, malakas yung loob niyo palagi eh. Go lang ng go. Si Andorio naman. Andorio, I wanna highlight Andorio. Okay. So last week nga, sinabi namin, natalo mo yung mga nililista ng mga tao na #1 na jungler. Pero hindi ko natanong sa'yo, kung ma-rate mo yung mga junglers ngayon, ano yung top 3?
Top 1 si Kyle. Top 2 si...
Si Kyle.
Top 2 po si Carl.
Carl.
Tapos yung top 3, dalawa eh. Okay
Sino?
lang. Si Devon Kite saka si King Kong.
Si Demon Kite and King Kong. Bakit wala ka doon sa top 3?
Mas malakas sa akin yun eh.
Nice answer. But you know, ano na sinasabi nito? Okay, now, let's take a look at the MVP of the game. Na-distract ako sa'yo, Jones. MVP of the game is... Okay! Congratulations, MVP! Uy, nabubuhay ang mga fans muli ng Smart Omega. Anong gusto mong sabihin sa kanila? Ano na pa ba ang dapat namin asahan mula sa inyo?
Gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga fans ng Omega, no? Thank you sa suporta. Tapos sa mga pumunta sa venue, patuloy nyo kami suporta sa mga parating namin na laban. Yan.
Congratulations!
Tapos shoutout pala sa kay Sir Lay. Tapos yung Facebook daw kasi ni Coach Ron, nahack eh. Baka daw pwedeng may makatulong doon. PM nyo na lang, Ronel Tan.
Nahack ang Facebook? Alam mo, Coach, ganun yung nangyayari kapag nananalo. Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga hackers. And now it's time to announce our super fan, our lucky fan with 3,000 diamonds. Come on up! Ganito ngayon sa MPL, we pick one lucky fan every series to give away 3,000 diamonds. What's your name?
My name is Johannes.
You have an accent, Johannes. Where are you from?
Indonesian.
Indonesia! So you love MPL Philippines, yes?
Yes.
I see here that you have Smart Omega. I'm guessing they're your favorite team. Who's your favorite player?
Chaknu.
Chaknu! Chaknu, tabi naman kayo para para matuwa naman ang ating fan. What do you want to say to Chaknu? Your idol is right there. What do you want to say to Chaknu?
Because this Chaknu playing game is good.
It's good.
Yeah. And I am in-game player tank player.
You're a tank player. Chaknu, what do you want to say to him? Pumunta ng Indonesia para sa'yo. Grabe ka, ha?
Thank you for supporting me.
Ang galing mag-English! Ay, that's a nice shirt. How about you invite everyone here to buy the same shirt?
Sorry, what?
Invite everyone to get the same shirt. There's a booth outside. Tell everyone to buy it.
I am today in buy this jersey.
You just bought this today, right? Oh, bumili na rin daw kayo. Congratulations once again. You have 3,000 diamonds. You can do a fist bump with Chaknu or handshake niya. Bite mo naman, Chaknu. Thank you so much. Grabe ka. Pupunta dito galing Indonesia. Ano masasabi mo doon? Yung mga fans dito, pinupuntahan ka sa Pilipinas.
Kayo yung nagiging inspiration ko. Thank you po.
Wow! The fans are the inspiration. Once again, congratulations to Smart Omega. You may now take your bow and take your walk of victory. Smart Omega, iba ang anyo this season. They're on a win streak. And it seems like every team is having a hard time going against them. We're gonna break it down for you, so we're gonna head back to our panel. Paso.
You know, Auntie, Renmar, and of course, the ones who are watching in Infinix Kingdom Bayan, we're not used to seeing this. Right? We're not used to seeing Smart Omega dominate. And lagi nating sinasabi na, what if in an alternate universe? Na hindi sila nagsisimula sa dulo. Nagsisimula sila sa umpisa, and that is what we're seeing this season.
They understand it. They get this meta that even Chaknu said it. He said it in Filipino. This is the meta that you can't be scared. You have to be brave when you team fight. Bro, at one point, Okir flickered into the back line in the middle of a team fight as an Aurora to get 3. Bro,
Grabe yung layering ng skills ng Smart Omega na parang hindi mo na nga masasabing magulo kasi sobrang systematic ng ginagawa nila na all throughout the match, alam nila yung strength na meron, yung kuponan na meron sila, and because of their strength, alam nila how to go about the strength that they have. Every single time, yung Numenon Blast coming from Chaknu, tapos lelayeran pagkatapos na Frigid Blazer coming from Okir, laging maganda yung response ng side ng Smart Omega na yung ginagawang plays ng Blacklist International, nagmumukha tuloy na parang nababasa agad nila.
And it's funny because we've seen this before. Omega has shown that this is part of their DNA back when they were still under a different organization, the old group of players, this new generation, the DNA is still there. Look at that, that's what we're talking about. Okir going to the back line of them making decisions you don't expect any other team to do, and you will get surprised. That's why back in Season 9, even before that, they were already called the Lason, the poison of the league. They do the things that you don't expect to do, and they make it work.
I think the main strength of Smart Omega that we've seen from them time and time again is their unpredictability.
Yes.
Like, you don't know kung ano yung gagawin nila susunod because, you know, just like what you said, Riku going to the back line or Okir going back to the back line para lumanding ng tatlo with his ultimate. Chaknu in the same way. And even the rest of the members are starting to play like him, being very aggressive, which is something that you don't expect.
And it's so in Omega fashion. They have Inspire and even the Mystery Shop on both the Harith and the Lolita. So it's like it just goes to show that they want to get their abilities faster. They want to be able to get their items just a little bit faster. They want to play fast.
Oo, kaya nga kumbaga yung nakikita natin right now na galaw ng Smart Omega, this is them na walang hino-hold back. Nakapag-commit, full commit, na kahit masabi natin na no, maka-respond yung kabilang team, it doesn't even matter. Kasi by the time na maka-respond yung team na kalaban nila, nabawasan na sila ng isa, ng dalawa, kasi yung chain crowd control, yung pagragasa ng barangay, parating nandun.
Yeah, ito na talaga yung pagbabalik na nakikita kong godlike Chakno. The reason kung bakit ang daming tank main sa Pinas na pag tinanong mo, sino paborito mong professional player? Chakno.
It's been like that.
Yung galaw ni Chakno talaga, parang alam niya what's going to happen next.
Pero grabe kasi, hindi mo lang masasabi na si Chakno lang eh.
Yes.
Jome, Andorio, Okiryota, gets rin nila. Lahat nila, alam nila yung assignment. So we really have to commend Coach Stronger, Coach Lembot, Coach Snap. Ang lupit naman ginagawa ng coaches ng Omega with the rest of the team.
And this is the reason why they haven't changed their lineup from last season, right? We've always wondered, we've always asked ourselves and asked Smart Omega kung bakit out of everyone, sila yung nagkaroon ng minor changes. Yung mga pinakamaliliit na pagbabago dun sa roster nila. And I guess we're starting to see why.
This is what chemistry does. Ganito yung nangyayari kapag imbibe ng bawat isa yung identity na meron yung koponan. Na yung sinabi kanina ni Chakno na no hesitation mentality, lahat all in, lahat pasok kung kaya, yun yung nakikita natin sa koponan ng barangay ngayon eh. Walang hesitations, walang pagdadalawang isip. Kaya naman kapag nag-all in sila, talagang all in. Na kapag nag-hold back ka dun sa ganong kind of mentality, malulugi ka talaga.
Yeah. And the most important thing is, it's all in, but it's not all into the front line.
Yup.
It's Okir, go to the back line, try to get someone. It's Jome, see if you can find a good angle. It's not just direct. They're going all in, but they're approaching from different angles during team fights.
Yeah, I love that. Kasi coming in from different sides, hindi sila like very one-dimensional. And that is actually how our standings are looking like as of the moment. Smart Omega, match win, lose, 3 wins and no losses as of the moment. Top of the standings, and nakita rin natin yung tatlo pa sa ibang mga teams na naglaban-laban all throughout the day.
Alam mo, there's a reason kung bakit Omega yung nagpasimula ng high loss sa MPL Philippines Season 14. Alam na alam nila how to maximize using it. Na every single time kapag gamit nila yung hero na yon, be it Chakno, Ryota, alam nila yung role na kailangan nilang gampanan.
Hopefully it doesn't end up becoming a replay of what happened in MPL Philippines Season 10. Season 10, Omega started off hot for the majority of the season, and then eventually they fell off. Hopefully we don't see that because, I don't know, that would just suck. That would hurt.
Yeah, medyo mahihirapan ang Smart Omega, and they hope that they could keep their momentum para na rin sa barangay at sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta sa kanila. But kayo din, you can assemble your own community tournament and you can have intense matchups just like this one because you can be part of E-Project Esports for everyone and show the world your impeccable esports prowess. Enjoy tournament access mode, free in-game items, diamonds, at marami pang iba. You can register by what?
Scanning the QR.
Yeah, the scanning the QR code right there.
Alam mo, may gusto lang din ako i-bring up, no?
Ano yan?
Yung kanina, yung super fan natin na nanalo ng 3,000 diamonds, galing siyang Indonesia. Kaya ikaw, nasa Pilipinas ka lang, bakit hindi ka magpunta sa
Yan
venue?
ang sinasabi ko sa inyo eh.
Salamat tang, my Indo brothers.
Thank
Gas,
you.
Come
Thank
here.
you. Maraming salamat
Terima kasih.
sa pagpunta dito. Terima kasih for going here. Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but yes, I hope you understood. Pero, just like what we were saying a while ago, kung may laban at pinakita natin ang standings ng ating mga MPL teams, parang pwede rin nating ipakita ang standings ng ating mga MPL fans. Dahil sa Infinix Fan Sick laban, ito ang nangyari. TNC, Team Liquid ang nagwagi. Pero, Blacklist International, ang agents, they took revenge on the barangay for that one.
Yeah, for the English viewers there, we have a fan tournament in
That's
MPL
right.
Philippines Season 14. So these are the fan groups of each MPL team. They have representatives and they play in a small weekly tournament that happens here on site. So I'm very happy to see that the community is active, and we're seeing more fans, being active in social media,
Yes.
clipping each other, showing off their skills. It's really cool.
Kasi nga kanina, nabanggit natin na meron kang chance to win 90,000 diamonds as long as you film your experience here in the MPL Philippines arena.
And we're so happy that you guys are enjoying. Because same with us. Nag-enjoy kami na makita kayo that you're actually, cheering. Ang daming nagsisigawan kanina. Ang daming buhay na buhay. And I am so happy na nandito tayo lahat and we've got to witness those intense matchups. I believe you have final thoughts. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
See you for the rest of the week. I'm excited.
What a series, Omega.
Parang four words lang ba per ano? Well, I guess that's it for them. In behalf of Auntie Anara and Renmar Santa Cruz, my name is Hans Galeria. Maraming salamat po. This has been the Infinix Game Tambayan. Mara, floor is yours.
Today, we saw the cavalry continue to ride the momentum at ang tibay ng barangay na laging sumusugad pataas. MPL Philippines Season 14 is just beginning. Marami pa tayong matutuklasan dito sa MPL Arena as more will unveil the hero within. Ako po si Mara Aquino. Kita-kits po muli tayo bukas and we're gonna find out a lot more things. So keep it good vibes, everybody, and see you tomorrow.
The 14th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Smart, the official telco partner of MPL Philippines Season 14. The official tournament phone of MPL Philippines, Infinix GT20 Pro. Official suppliers, EMC Asia and Index Salon. Experience the TLPH Season 14 action live at Green Sun, Makati City. Grab your tickets now via official MPLPH website. Don't miss any MPL action by following our official Facebook and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Follow MPLPH on TikTok for more content. And to ensure the equality and fairness of our games, MPL Philippines is also monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusements Board.